was Chen Yingyuan who first reacted, offering a reminder. Upon hearing this, Peng Bo's face immediately showed a hint of understanding. That's right, in Great Xia, not only is the earth-digging realm young, even the cold resistance level is frighteningly young. The two of them walked forward for a while, and just as they caught sight of the silhouette of the main building, the already bustling street suddenly became even more noisy and lively. A crowd of people flocked out of their homes, all heading towards the main building. They looked excited, obviously anticipating something. The camp supply department is organizing a competition again. What competition? Seems like the leader personally set it up, calling it the Great Xia Martial Arts Tournament. Just like the previous mining competitions, where contribution value is given based on ranking. This time is different. It seems like a martial arts showdown, and I've heard the prizes are substantial. It's been a long time since a competition was held. Martial arts, there should be competitions in mining and archery as well, right? Not sure, but I've heard many people are watching over there. Hurry and take a look. Someone just informed me that camp supply department people are posting notices. Lord Qiu Peng will personally announce. Let's go hurry and check it out. Peng Bo and Chen Yingyuan exchanged glances and quickened their steps. Arriving below the main building, they were instantly dumbfounded. There were simply too many people. The more than 4,000 households in the inner city, men and women, young and old, it seemed they all came, and many from the outer city as well. At least 30,000 people were gathered on the square in front of the main building. Both of them were at the cold resistance level. Using a little trick, they soon squeezed into the front row, where they saw a stage 7 or 8 meters high already set up in the square, with Qiu Peng eloquently speaking upon it. The Great Xia Martial Arts Tournament begins on the first day of June each year and is divided into 3 groups: Cold Resistance Level, Earth-Digging Realm, and Logging Realm. Anyone who meets the cultivation requirements, regardless of gender, may participate. The Cold Resistance Level has fewer participants, only the top 5 are selected. The Earth-Digging Realm takes the top 10, the Logging Realm the top 100. I won't tell you what the rewards are specifically now, only that they're exceptionally generous, including a massive contribution value, slots for cultivation at the Martial Arts Academy, fine wine, Dan medicine, beast meat, weapons. Even a chance for the leader to personally instruct you in cultivation. Even I envy them. As Qiu Peng finished speaking, the originally noisy square instantly quieted down. Everyone's minds repeated Qiu Peng's words, their eyes hot, and even their breathing became a bit heavier. Who is Qiu Peng? He is one of the 6 directors of Great Xia, and also the richest director of the camp supply department. Even he is envious of the rewards, which speaks volumes. The specific rules of the competition will be posted shortly, and those wanting to participate can start studying them now. Qiu Peng, pleased with the crowd's reaction, clapped his hands, and soon 3 people from the camp supply department came out and posted the notices on the main building's door. At the same time, Qiu Peng continued speaking. Additionally, there's another matter to inform everyone today. I'll first say it here, and later the camp supply department will inform again in the outer city. That is, the reserve force will start a reformation. The mention of reforming the reserve force did not seem to concern many people in the inner city, but a few from the outer city looked tense. Qiu Peng continued. The previous rule was that anyone over 6 who hadn't reached the logging realm could receive 1 to 2 pounds of beast meat per day. Now, with the population of Great Xia exceeding 100,000, continuing like this makes the demand for beast meat unsustainably high, so changes must be made. Going forward, only orphans over the age of 6, or those whose entire family has no relative above the logging realm, can enter the reserve force and enjoy the daily quota of 1 to 2 pounds of free beast meat. Everyone should be okay with that, right? Of course, we should take care of orphans. The population in the camp is now too large. We definitely can't continue as before. Beast meat needs to be controlled. Exactly, as long as there's one relative in the logging realm, based on the current beast meat prices at the camp supply department, exchanging 4 to 5 pounds every day isn't difficult. And with a relative in the earth-digging realm, even more so, I agree with reforming the reserve force. I agree too, with more and more people, usage must be controlled. Hearing the support of the crowd, a hint of satisfaction rose in Qiu Peng's eyes. He had just discussed suggestions with Xia Hong regarding the reserve force. This round of population increased to 110,000 if the previous system continued, where anyone over 6 who hadn't reached the logging realm counted as reserve force. The daily consumption of beast meat in the camp would be terrifying. Qiu Peng had discussed roughly with Xia Chuan and Longyu, excluding the consumption by cold resistance level, earth-digging realm, and logging realm. Just the reserve force alone would consume over 130,000 pounds of beast meat daily. Adding in other consumption, it was estimated they'd need to consume over 200,000 pounds daily. This consumption rate is just too scary. The current hunting team at the camp is clearly unable to supply enough. Therefore, reform is urgently necessary. The price of beast meat has been lowered, but it's still double the original price, which is a necessary measure based on current population consumption needs in the camp. In fact, the fact that these inner-city residents could willingly accept the reform was already within Qiu Peng's expectations. Those who could live in the inner city were considered old hands of Great Xia. On one hand, they remembered the camp's kindness, so they could empathize with its difficulties. On the other hand, there was actually very little reserve force in the inner city, so it wasn't related to their own interests, whereby they'd naturally accept willingly. Next is coordinating people from the outer city. There shouldn't be much of a problem, not to mention that even if it's 1 contribution value for 1 pound, or 5 for 1 pound, compared to the 3 camps in Longyu, Great Xia's treatment is far superior, let alone besides beast meat. Great Xia possesses many things their original camp didn't have. After Qiu Peng said this to himself, he scanned the crowd, raised his voice to the maximum and continued. All right, that's all for today. Registration for the martial arts tournament starts on the 15th, right here at the main building. Let's disperse. Then his gaze fell directly on Chen Yingyuan and Peng Bo in the crowd. He stepped down from the stage and approached the two, smiling. You two come upstairs with me. The leader is waiting for us. Chen Yingyuan and Peng Bo nodded and followed him upstairs together. Chapter 619. Chapter 262. Garrison Candidates, Martial Arts Enthusiasm, and the Eve of a Breakthrough Tide. The majestic golden dome. Blue leather blankets covering the entire floor of the Grand Hall. On both sides, a variety of eerie white beast bone statues. 8 solemn and powerful golden pillars. Hundreds of pure iron beast-shaped coal burners. A 4-footed square giant cauldron in the center of the hall. The main hall on the top floor. When Chen Yingyuan and Peng Bo entered, the opulent style inside the hall immediately overwhelmed them. Beehive and Yang Lu do not lack coal and iron. But first, neither family is as luxurious, and the iron ore they must pay annually to Long Mountain is no small amount. The remaining iron ore is either used to enhance camp defenses or to forge weapons and war armor, leaving nothing to spare. Second, the moment they entered Xia City, they realized that their own casting and smelting skills were inferior to Great Xia's. With fewer resources, poorer craftsmanship, lower alchemy, forging and construction capabilities, resource distribution and institutional aspects far inferior to Great Xia, thus. Thousands of thoughts flashed through Chen Yingyuan's mind in an instant. Finally, he seemed to decide something, looked up at Xia Hong on the high platform, took a deep breath and walked forward bowing. Chen Yingyuan pays respects to the leader. Peng Bo, standing behind Chen Yingyuan, clearly understood the deep meaning of this action. With a complex expression, without any hesitation, he walked beside Chen Yingyuan and respectfully bowed to Xia Hong. Peng Bo pays respects to the leader. The hall was not solely occupied by Xia Hong. Qiu Peng, who had entered earlier, was already standing nearby. Counting Yuan Dao, Yuan Cheng, Luo Yuan, Meng Yi, Zhu Ling, Zhu Yuan, Lin Kai, Lu Yang, Huang Yang, Hong Gang, 11 late-stage cold resistants are all present in Xia City. The originally somewhat noisy crowd, seeing Chen Yingyuan and Peng Bo's display of respect, instantly quieted down. There was no surprise among the people, only a sense of inevitability. Xia Hong, holding a wine cup on the high platform, showed a strong sense of joy in his eyes when he saw the two respectfully saluting and heard leader. Though in Longyu, Chen Peng and 4 others have joined Great Xia and heed his and Xia Chuan's commands. Xia Hong understands that is because their families are in Xia City. Getting an ordinary late-stage cold resistance to join Great Xia is not simple, let alone the strength of these 4. Furthermore, Chen Peng and Peng Bo were each camp leaders with equivalent status to his own. Whether these 4 would truly be willing to join Great Xia before returning to Xia City was unknown. Xia Chuan left Chen Yingba and Wu Tangxing and Long Yu to intentionally bring Chen Yingyuan and Peng Bo back. Once these two agree to join Great Xia, the other two wouldn't be an issue. Their actions now clearly demonstrate their attitude. Chen Yingyuan, late-stage cold resistance, 7 main power. Peng Bo, late-stage cold resistance, 8 main power. Chen Yingba, late-stage cold resistance, 6 main power. Wu Tangxing, late-stage cold resistance, 6 main power. From this moment on, the 4 late-stage cold resistance truly joined the camp, becoming members of Great Xia. Rise now joining the camp, everyone will be treated equally. You too should have registered with the hunting department, can create your own hunting team and integrate into the camp's regular hunting life. If confused, seek out Qiu Peng and Yuan Dao. Though pleased, Xia Hong refrained from excessive enthusiasm towards them, instructed them, then waved them to join the ranks. He looked at the 13 present and continued smiling. Gathering you here now for 2 matters. Yuan Dao and 9 others have just returned home once, summoned here for the 2nd time now. First matter, Yuan Cheng you speak. Yuan Cheng nodded at the command, stepped forward, faced everyone and said, My garrison department has added 3 outposts, Hankyang, Wushuang and Beehive, thus needs to appoint 3 defense envoys. If anyone is interested, you may recommend yourself to the leader. Those who heard this, except for Yuan Dao, Yuan Cheng, Luo Yuan, Zhu Yuan, the 4 already with positions in the 6 ministries, the remaining 9 all showed interest. To be a defense envoy externally is surely better than merely being a regular hunting team captain, both in practical benefits and in personal status. The only downside might be less comfort and safety than in Xia City. Yet those present are all seasoned veterans who live dangerously. Safety never factors into their considerations. Moreover, a late-stage cold resistance is unlike the earth-digging realm. Considering Great Xia's environmental development, ensuring outpost safety means they can return anytime, just cannot linger in Xia City. Leader, Han Gang willing to garrison Long Yu. I Huang Yang am willing too. Subordinate wants to go too. Meng Yu willing to go. If possible, Peng Bo is willing too. Remarkably, all 9 expressed intent to go. Xia Hong silently smiled on the high platform, unsurprised. Yuan Cheng was more prepared. Seeing 9 express intent, he smiled and said, If all wish to go, then there's no choice but competition. Whoever is more capable goes. Chapter 620. Chapter 262. Garrison Candidates, Martial Arts Enthusiasm, and the Eve of a Breakthrough Tide Part 2. He paused for a moment, then continued. Defense Envoy. Ultimately, it's about acquiring resources for Great Xia, so let's set a 1-month period. Among you 9, the 3 who obtain the most contribution value can serve as the defense envoy for these 3 outposts. Acquiring contribution value, essentially, means submitting various resources to the camp. This is inherently a way to compare abilities, and none of the 9 had any objections. Chen Yingyuan and Peng Bo, who had not yet created a hunting team, also nodded, already calculating in their minds that they needed to quickly form their own hunting team. Xia Hong waved for Yuan Cheng to retreat inside and continued, Now, I'll tell you about the 2nd matter, which is next month's martial arts event. The group at cold resistance level will be personally handled by me, so today I'm telling you cold resistance levels in the camp in advance. Qiu Peng, after listening, personally make a trip to Huayuan, Mirror Valley and Long Yu to notify Xia Chuan, Yue Feng, Su Ning and the others. Yes, sir. Upon hearing this, everyone's expression slightly brightened, and they looked up at Xia Hong. Qiu Peng had just mentioned in the plaza below that even he was envious of the rewards for this martial arts event, which had already piqued everyone's curiosity immensely. Xia Hong smiled, first taking out a small red porcelain bottle from his bosom, then poured out 13 pills from within and tossed them towards everyone. As soon as the porcelain bottle was opened, the 13 people who smelled the unique fragrance of the pills suddenly froze in their expressions. When they reached out to accurately catch the pills and looked down at the spirit pill in their hands, it surfaced like fiery red magma. They felt a strong craving from the blood and flesh within their bodies, causing their breathing to become a bit heavier. This pill, why does its medicinal power feel like the Jade bone medicine? Very similar, no, not very similar, its medicinal power is stronger. Chen Yingyuan and Peng Bo spoke one after another, immediately attracting the attention of the other 11. Indeed, this pill has a stronger effect than the Jade bone medicine. Just its scent makes the flesh beneath my skin react. This is clearly several times stronger than the Jade bone medicine I used at Wushwang. Leader, is this for cold resistance level cultivation? Luo Yuan and Yuan Cheng, who had previously taken Jade bone medicine at Wushwang, confirmed Chen Peng's guess successively. Yuan Dao even directly guessed the purpose of the pill and immediately asked Xia Hong for confirmation, his face full of anticipation. Exactly, this is called Yangyuan pill. It functions the same as Jade bone medicine, but its effect is 3 to 4 times stronger. From now on, those of cold resistance level in Great Xia won't have to worry about pills for cultivation. Yuan Cheng's eyes swirled, and he immediately saluted Xia Hong. Thank you, leader, for the pill. Ha ha ha, you crafty kid, don't try to be clever. The Yangyuan pill is too precious, I won't just give it to you for free. Seeing his little trick exposed, Yuan Cheng awkwardly laughed twice. The others chuckled softly, continuing to look at Xia Hong, waiting for his explanation. Xia Hong smiled and said, the crafting of this Yangyuan pill isn't simple. In addition to the 11 kinds of medicinal herbs needed to brew Jade bone, 7 more must be added. These 18 herbs are very rare, so unless you can procure more herbs, future production won't be much. Currently, the camp's supply department has set its price at 2,000 points of contribution value each. Whether the price can be lowered depends on your ability to provide herbs. Points each. The crowd's faces showed slight surprise upon hearing this. Apart from land and a few rare weapons, this was the most expensive item in Great Xia at present. However, thinking that the Yangyuan pill is used for cold resistance level cultivation, and its effects are several times that of Jade bone, the crowd quickly came to terms with it. It's rightfully expensive. Qiu Peng, when you go to notify Su Ning and Yue Feng later, take 10 pills to give them. This first pill counts as a benefit from me to you, only charging you 1,000 points of contribution value, deducted by the camp's supply department. Take it when you return, and then I'll talk about the grouping for the cold resistance level in the martial arts event. Xia Hong paused for a moment, then smilingly continued. The cold resistance level group in the martial arts event will adopt a head-to-head elimination tournament format. Because Great Xia currently has few at cold resistance level, this time I've set the rewards quite generously. First, everyone who competes will receive a Yangyuan pill whether they win or lose, as a basic reward. Second, this competition will take the top 5, all of whom will receive additional rewards. The reward for first place is 5 Yangyuan pills, 30,000 points of contribution value, 1,000 forged silver weapon, a 1-month exclusive martial arts academy cultivation slot, 3 pounds of blood cold wine, 100 pounds of refined salt. Second place, 3 Yangyuan pills, 25,000 points of contribution value, 1,000 forged silver-coated custom weapon, a 1-month exclusive martial arts academy cultivation slot, 2 pounds of blood cold wine, 100 pounds of refined salt. Third place, 2 Yangyuan pills, 20,000 points of contribution value, 1,000 forged silver weapon, a 1-month exclusive martial arts academy cultivation slot, 1 pound of blood cold wine, 100 pounds of refined salt. The rewards for 4th and 5th are not much different from the 3rd. 1 Yangyuan pill, with contribution value decreasing by 5,000 each, the rest remain unchanged. When Xia Hong finished explaining the rewards for the top 5, everyone's breathing became a bit heavier, and their gaze grew fervent. Currently, there are only 23 people at cold resistance level. As long as one competes in a match, they can receive a Yangyuan pill as a reward, which means the person who takes first place is likely to compete in 5 matches, combined with the first place rewards, will have a total of 10 Yangyuan pills. 10. Everyone looked down at the Yangyuan pill in their hands, their expressions extremely fervent. Chapter 621, Chapter 262, Garrison Candidates, Martial Arts Enthusiasm, and the Eve of a Breakthrough Tide. Not just the Yangyuan pill, but also the contribution value reward of up to 30,000 points, a 1-month training slot at the Martial Arts Academy, 1,000 forged silver-coated custom weapons, and blood-cold wine. Among the 6 rewards Xia Hong mentioned, the one that held the least attraction for everyone was, in fact, the 100 pounds of refined salt. The production material for refined salt is intermediate beast bones. As the number of intermediate teams in the Great Xia increases, the production of refined salt naturally rises as well. The camp supply department had long reduced the price from the original 500 points per pound to 200 points per pound. Even so, the least attractive refined salt reward, if exchanged for contribution value, would amount to 20,000 points. Top 5. I must get into the top 5. Minister Yuan Sijang, Peng Bo, Chen Yingyuan. These 4 are too strong and will probably take the top 4. I can still fight for the 5th. Strength isn't the final determinant. The rules for the martial competition aren't out yet. I have other ways to fight for the top 5. Even if I can't get into the top 5, I must at least endure one more match. Each Yangyuan pill is worth 3,000 contribution points. Winning one more match means earning 3,000 points. The eyes of the 13 people below immediately sparkled. Some began calculating whether their strength could secure a top 5 position. Others focused on the rules, aiming for the top 5, while some aimed to simply endure more rounds. Seeing the reactions from below, Xia Hong's smile broadened. It wasn't in vain to offer such rich rewards. He hoped that the first-year martial competition could bring him some surprises. The specific tournament system and rewards for the earth-digging realm and logging realm groups should be discussed and formulated by you with Xia Chuan, based on my template. Additionally, aside from the cold resistance level, the preliminary competition venues for the earth-digging realm and logging realm groups can be set at the 5 outposts below. For the finals, bring them to Xia City, so as not to disrupt normal life at the outposts. I will handle it perfectly, don't worry, leader. Qiu Peng nodded. The 5 outposts of Huayuan, Mirror Valley, Wushuang, Beehive, and Hankyang still have large numbers of earth-digging and logging realm cultivators. It is impossible to summon everyone back to the camp just for one martial competition, so sub-venues are necessary. At this moment, Yuan Dao thought of something and bowed, suggesting to Xia Hong. Leader, with so many outposts now and a significant external population, perhaps the 6 ministries can each set up divisions at the 5 outposts. This could prevent the inconvenience of having to return to Xia City for everything. Upon hearing this suggestion, Xia Hong's eyes lit up, looking at Yuan Dao. This is a good suggestion, I agree. You can discuss it privately, then give me a final plan. In fact, just 5 outposts don't really warrant this yet, but with more in the future, Yuan Dao's suggestion would be very useful. Using the 6 ministries to control all the below outposts somewhat resembles a centralized authority. Xia Hong's mind slightly stirred, giving him some ideas about the great Xia's future development. All right, go attend to your own matters. We shall take our leave. Upon hearing these words, everyone bowed and left the hall. Second year of Great Xia, May 15th. If a place currently best admired in Great Xia were to be chosen, it would undoubtedly be the Martial Arts Academy, without exception. Especially in the 4 months following this year's Cold Element Festival, high-level figures from more than a dozen camps like Yuan Cheng, Luo Yuan, Qiu Peng, and others made successful cold resistance breakthroughs in the Martial Arts Hall, making this place even more sacred in the hearts of everyone in Great Xia. And with the announcement of the martial competition on the 1st of June, it became the most competitive place in the entire camp. The reason is simple. Ever since the director of the camp's supply department, Qiu Peng, returned from Longyu on the 28th of last month, the Martial Arts Academy changed its rules from accommodating everyone from the entire camp to only allowing access to those in the logging realm and earth-digging realm. With 200 slots, 150 for logging realm, 50 for earth-digging realm, and the qualifications to enter must be purchased with contribution points if they are close to breakthrough. Those close to breakthrough in the earth-digging realm are nearing the 30,000 pounds limit. People at this age range, unless they are exceptional geniuses, are mostly around 30 years old. Many are elites or even leaders in various hunting teams. They are mature and may not show interest in the martial competition outwardly, focusing quietly on their cultivation. But those in the logging realm are different. Currently, in the Great Xia, the average age for reaching the earth-digging realm has dropped to around 17 years old, with the youngest being only 14 or even 13 years old. At such an energetic age, the martial arts hall is naturally lively every day. Today was no exception. Xiao Hin, how about a duel? In the martial arts hall in the logging realm area, Xiao Hin, who was cultivating, was interrupted by a black-clad youth of a similar height, holding a barrier blade. Behind the youth stood a beautiful girl in white. At a glance, One could tell they were siblings, as the girl held 100 forged long sword, teasingly looking at him. Xia Hong glanced at the girl in white, then focused on the youth in front of him, furrowing his brows slightly. Zhao Yuankong, Zhao Yuando, your little tricks don't fool me. If you really want to fight, wait for next month's martial competition. Upon hearing Xia Hong's words, the siblings' expressions darkened slightly, and after giving him a deep look, they coldly snorted and turned to leave. Seeing them leave, Xia Hong let out a cold laugh. Recently, the Zhao Yuando siblings have been the most active in the logging realm of the camp. Starting 5 days ago, the two not only challenged people in the martial arts hall but everywhere outside as well, under the guise of challenges, their real intention being to stimulate those at the peak of the logging realm to break through combat. Chapter 622, Chapter 262, Garrison Candidates, Martial Arts Enthusiasm, and the Eve of a Breakthrough Tide. The deeper purpose, of course, is for next month's martial arts tournament. Now the event of the martial arts competition is causing quite a stir, with 3 groups for cold resistance level, earth-digging realm, and logging realm. Everyone knows about it. The actions of the Zhao Yuando siblings are clearly intended to reduce their competition, forcing those intentionally stuck at the peak of logging realm to break through, so they are reassigned to the earth-digging realm group. Any slightly clever person would quickly figure it out. However, facing the provocations of the siblings, some people couldn't resist taking the bait. In the past 5 days, at least a dozen people at the peak of logging realm got caught up in it. The matter caused quite a commotion, and it's heard that some unsatisfied individuals reported the siblings to Lord Qiu Peng, who is in charge of the martial arts tournament. Xia Hong recently visited his sister's house frequently, so he got to know quite a bit of insider information. It's said that Lord Qiu Peng, upon learning of this matter, just laughed it off and said that the siblings' actions did not violate any rules, and those who got caught were simply unable to hold their temper, with no one else to blame but themselves. Indeed, these people who haven't even reached the earth-digging realm are just like kids in the eyes of Director Qiu Peng, and he naturally wouldn't interfere with children's antics. However, Xia Hong thought deeper. He believed that Director Qiu Peng's words were not wrong. The fact is exactly so. The Zhao Yuando siblings did not force anyone to accept their challenges. Those who got caught really couldn't keep their composure, with no one else to blame. Recalling how big sister and second sister gathered him, Xia Lin, and several other cousins together, solemnly instructing them to wait until after the martial arts tournament before breaking through, Xia Hong was full of curiosity. Why such serious instructions? What exactly is the reward? Indeed, 5 days have passed since Qiu Peng announced the news of the Great Xia martial arts competition, but the specific rules of the tournament have yet to be published. The rewards are even more elusive. Everyone knows the rewards are generous, but what exactly they are is still unknown to anyone. Suddenly, Xia Lin came running over from another side of the martial arts hall, panting heavily. Ahin, I found out. His face was full of excitement, and he directly pulled Xia Hong aside, lowered his voice, and continued. The earth-digging realm competition system has come out. It's said to be a selection system. Currently, the total number of people in the Great Xia earth-digging realm is over 4,000. Each person initially has 10 matches, ranked according to the number of victories. If victory counts are the same, it depends on the duration of battles. The top 128 will advance, followed by 7 rounds of elimination matches to determine the top 10. Xia Hong turned his head to look into the depths of the martial arts academy, noticing those at the earth-digging realm limit indeed gathered together discussing, and immediately asked, "What about the rewards? Have you found out about the rewards?" Xia Lin immediately replied, "They've already been announced, posted in front of the main building. We can't go now." Xia Hong nodded. It was daylight outside, and they couldn't leave the martial arts academy, needing to wait until it was dark to check in front of the main building. "But I just clearly heard the reward for the 10th place in the earth-digging realm group." "What is it? Quickly tell me." Upon hearing Xia Lin's follow-up, Xia Hong immediately urged him with a face full of anticipation. Gulp. Xia Lin first swallowed his saliva, then continued. "For the 10th place, 5 blood essence pills, 200 pounds of beast blood, 5,000 contribution points, a customized 1,000 forged weapon, a 1-month exclusive training slot at the Martial Arts Academy, 20 pounds of aged wine, 50 pounds of refined salt." Xia Hong's expression froze instantly, followed by rapid breathing, and his eyes became extremely hot. Xiao Lin couldn't help but start calculating. 50 pounds of refined salt, at the current camp supply department price of 200 points per pound. This reward alone is worth 10,000 contribution points. Aged wine is more expensive, requiring 400 points for 1 pound, so 20 pounds is 8,000 points. A 1-month exclusive training slot at the Martial Arts Academy, currently costing 50 contribution points per day. Normally calculated, it's only worth 1,500, but this is for an exclusive 1-month slot, meaning you can stay here for a month continuously, and the value could be over 10 times that. Just calculate it as 10 times. A customized 1,000 forged weapon. If I remember correctly, currently only the leader in our camp has one. The craftsman department brought out 2 last month, but they were priced at 12,000 and no one exchanged for them. Beast blood is currently 30 contribution points per pound, so 200 pounds is 4,000 points. Lastly, the 5 blood essence pills. I've heard from those in the earth-digging realm that blood essence pills are a type of spirit pill used only when breaking the 30,000 pounds limit in the earth-digging realm, and start reshaping skin with beast blood, currently priced at 700 points each by the camp supply department, totaling 3,500 contribution points for 5 pills. Then add in the 5,000 contribution points reward, which means just for the 10th place reward in the earth-digging realm group, the total value is 57,500. No, even more than that, the real value is only higher. Xiao Hong calculated it out first, and at this moment he finally realized why his big sister and second sister were so solemn earlier. Nearly 60,000 contribution points, quite a sum. This amount of contribution points is significant, even for his father Xiao Qingcheng, the captain of the Xiao Mountain team, who probably wouldn't take it lightly. The Xiao Mountain team is already an intermediate hunting team, but on average, my father earns about 2,500 contribution points a month, and this is enough for him to earn over 2 years. And this is just the reward for the 10th place in the earth-digging realm group. How much will be rewarded for the first place? Gulp. Xiao Hong also couldn't help but swallow, with his face full of shock and agitation. Of course, what followed was an incredibly passionate fighting spirit. If the earth-digging realm is like this, the rewards for the top 100 in the logging realm won't be far off. This is my opportunity. I'm already quite behind the first team of geniuses at camp. If I fall behind, I'll continue to fall behind in the future. If I can obtain such a huge amount of resources, plus my father's support, my cultivation progress in the earth-digging realm will accelerate significantly. Maybe I can catch up to Hong Xiaojun, Hong Xiaokeng, and Li Yuanqing. Hong Xiaojun, Hong Xiaokeng, Li Yuanqing. These are the ones who previously broke the age record for breaking through the earth-digging realm. As these names emerged in his mind, Xiao Hong first clenched his fists, but then suddenly realized something, and his expression became a bit peculiar. They must be regretting it now, huh? They've all broken through to the earth-digging realm shortly before this, so naturally, they will be classified into the earth-digging realm group in this martial arts competition. In the earth-digging realm group, those who can compete for the top 10 are bound to be the ones who have broken through the earth-digging realm limit and started using beast blood. The Hong family siblings and Li Yuanqing, who just broke through, basically have no chance of ranking. I've seen you running to your brother-in-law's house frequently recently. Do you already know some insider information? If there's something good, don't forget about your brother. Seeing Xiao Lin's anxious and expectant eyes, Xiao Hong couldn't help but show a hint of helplessness. Isn't my big sister pregnant? My mother cooks meat soup for her every day, and when dawn approaches, she lets me deliver it over. Don't worry, if I really know any insider information, I certainly won't forget you. Hearing this, Xiao Lin finally felt at ease and pulled him along to continue their training. At the back of the main hall on the top floor of the main building, Xia Hong, who was sitting cross-legged quietly in the room, suddenly opened his eyes, with a hint of a smile on his face, shook his head and said, "These kids are quite clever. It seems this wave of breakthroughs will wait until after the martial arts competition. However, Xia Chuan, this kid, didn't even tell me about such a big event." After pondering for a moment, Xia Hong stood up, then turned his head to glance at Xia Chuan's house next to the main building. After thinking for a moment, he took a few things with him and vanished from the room. Chapter 623, Chapter 263, Offering Advice, an elder brother like a father. Big sis, second sis, I brought soup. Coming. Outside the main building in room number 1, Xia Hong carried a heavy box of meat and bone soup, smiling as he entered the room with the second sister, Xia Yu, who had come to open the door. Why bring it again? Didn't I tell Mom to stop making it? I'm eating it every day, it's almost driving me nuts. The eldest sister, Xia Ning, was sitting in the living room. Though she was complaining with her mouth, her face was still full of smiles. As Xia Hong approached, she quickly waved to brush the snow off him and then pushed him down onto a chair. Elder sister, please don't make me drink more. I ate at home, and now I'm here to eat again. These days I'm almost bursting. Seeing his sister pull out a bowl and chopsticks, filling a bowl to the brim, Xia Hong immediately waved his hands in refusal, yet Xia Ning completely ignored him, placing the bowl right in front of him. Xia Yu teased from the side, who told you to love delivering stuff so much? Just say you don't want to deliver them and problem solved. Since it's here, you have to eat it. Xia Hong had a bitter look on his face at these words. His mother had spoken, how could he disobey? Joking aside, Xia Hong actually understood very well. Both elder sisters were in the earth-digging realm with their cultivation, lacking no contribution value. Besides, given brother-in-law Xia Chuan's status and abilities, how could they lack something like beast meat? Not to mention, just these past 5 days, every time he left brother-in-law's house, his hands were never empty, as both sisters were always slipping him things. Intermediate beast meat, refined salt, beast essence pills, fabrics, and even last night, elder sister gave him 1 pound of aged wine, which was intercepted by Father Zhao Kengcheng upon his return, only giving him a glass. For the past few days, he was somewhat resentful towards his mother for good soup deliveries turning into things being given, but today, coming out of the martial arts academy, he suddenly understood. Brother-in-law Xia Chuan had been in Longyu for almost a month, always being away from home. The real intention of his mother was probably seeing the brother-in-law absent from the camp, fearing the two sisters would be too lonely at home, hence asking him to use the reason of delivering meat soup to chat with the sisters, easing their boredom. Understanding this layer, Xia Hong wasn't as clueless as the last few times, drinking the meat soup while proactively chatting with the sisters. Sis, today at the Martial Arts Academy, I heard that the rules for the Earth-Digging Realm group competition are already out, and the rewards are really frightening. Xia Ning saw her brother initiate the chat and immediately nodded with a smile, responding, exactly, there's so much good stuff, I'm practically drooling over it. Sadly, both my second sister and I aren't strong enough. My basic strength is 27,000, my second sister's is 14,000, we don't even have hope of advancing. Xia Hong nodded and said, that's for sure. Of the 50 Earth-Digging Realm entrants to the Martial Arts Academy last night, all have broken through the 30,000-pound limit. I heard Father say in the camp now, there are close to 400 Earth-Digging Realm who have surpassed 30,000. Your basic strength has to be over 60,000 even to hope for advancement. Xia Yu thought of something at this point and interjected, right, Xia Hong, I haven't seen Father in a long time nor Uncle Yuan. What's their basic strength now? Do they have hope of advancing? Xia Ning became interested upon hearing this, gazing at her brother with anticipation. Zhao He camp merged with Great Xia over a year ago. Father Zhao Kangcheng and Uncle Zhao Yuan formed the Zhao Mountain team, and now it has advanced to intermediate level, naturally raising their power. Zhao Ning recalled, last September, Father and Uncle both broke through to the earth-digging realm limit. They should be stronger now. I don't know either. Yet Zhao Hen didn't know about the cultivation status of the two elders. After speaking, he reminisced for a moment before saying, the two of them have recently returned with a lot of beast blood and are often going to the Martial Arts Academy to cultivate. Their nighttime hunting sessions are getting longer. They must be preparing. Upon hearing their brother's words, Zhao Ning and Zhao Yu immediately understood. Father and uncle must be striving for advancement, their faces all showing a smile. Big sis, second sis, I heard the cold resistance level competition group will be personally handled by the leader. Do you think brother-in-law will be the champion? The two women chuckled softly at these words, showing a bit of pride on their faces. People naturally focus their gaze on the strong. This time's competition, Great Xia's everyone is most concerned with the cold resistance level group. Currently, the camp has 23 cold resistance levels, and the only one who truly understands everyone's strength is probably the leader, yet this does not affect everyone's discussions. Currently, the favorites to win the cold resistance level group are heard to be 4 people: Minister Xia Chuan, Hunting Department Director Yuan Dao, and the newly added Hive leader Chen Yingyuan, and Yang Lu leader Peng Bo. Xiao Hen asked this question, clearly favoring brother-in-law Xia Chuan. Of course, Xiao Ning and Xiao Yu favored their husband even more than he did. The 2 women didn't directly answer the question, merely smiled in silence. Xiao Hen saw the 2 sisters not answering, his eyes shifted, and he continued asking. Sis, the rules for the logging realm competition aren't announced yet. Do you know any inside information? Bang! Ouch! No sooner had Xiao Hen asked than his second sister, Xiao Yu, knocked on his head. You brat, already starting to think about these crooked ideas. Not saying I don't know, even if I did, I wouldn't tell you. Xiao Ning didn't react as strongly, pondering for a moment, then saying, including Huayuan, Mirror Valley, and Longyu over there, Great Xia now has at least over 30,000 logging realm people. From my observations in recent days, deliberate carters like you not breaking through, there are at least 2,000, and with half a month still before the official start of the June 1st martial arts event, there will definitely be more and more later. Chapter 624, Chapter 263, Offering Strategies, an eldest brother like a father. Though stuck without breaking through to the earth-digging realm, Xiao Hen has seen quite a few in the martial arts academy over the past few days, but he guessed there would only be a few hundred at most. When he heard his big sister, Xiao Ning, saying there were more than 2,000 and it would increase further, he was instantly dumbfounded. How can there be so many? Second sister Xiao Yu snickered, charmingly said, Silly brother, Director Q doesn't bother with Zhao Yuandao and his sister simply because there are too many people stuck without breaking through. A mere dozen people can't possibly affect the martial arts competition. Once it starts on June 1st, you'll see. A bunch of people will break through as soon as they enter the arena. Xiao Hen's expression instantly grew heavy upon hearing this. With 2,000 or 3,000 people stuck without breaking through, his 9,900 pounds of basic strength barely counted as an advantage. Considering that the first round of earth-digging realm elimination will oust 4,000, at least 30,000 will be eliminated in the logging realm. It means his strength might not even survive the first round of screening. Already discouraged, silly boy. Although your basic strength isn't particularly advantageous, at least it's not a disadvantage. Your brother-in-law personally taught you long fist. In terms of force exertion techniques, even if you're not the best, you're stronger than most. As long as you follow the competition rules and think a bit, I don't believe you won't make it into the top 100. After Xiao Ning spoke, Xiao Yu also followed. Earth-digging realm groups say each person has 10 battle opportunities, but judging by the numbers, losing one immediately results in elimination. Only 10 consecutive wins and short victory times get a chance to advance. In your logging realm group, there are too many people. To pick the top 100 out of 30,000, it won't follow earth-digging realm grouping rules. Surely they'll use another method, and the first round will eliminate more than 90%. Think carefully, what's an approach to achieve this? Xiao Hen's expression settled. He's not foolish. Knowing his second sister is helping him strategize for advancement, he immediately bowed his head in contemplation. Soon he brightened his eyes, said, eliminating over 90% of the logging realm at once. Surely they'll arrange an utterly unbeatable opponent for all logging realms, causing widespread elimination. Clever. Xiao Ning's face revealed a hint of approval, continued to guide him. Right, since it's widespread, indiscriminate elimination, it can't accommodate everyone's strength. So I suspect the first challenge won't be determined by strength alone. Try thinking of other means. Strength isn't the decisive factor. Then besides strength, what else might be assessed? Xiao Hen immediately fell into deep thought. Luck, connections, ability, team coordination. Knock, knock, knock. A sudden knocking interrupted Xiao Hen's thoughts. All 3 immediately turned their heads toward the door, a hint of curiosity on their faces. Xia Chuan's house rarely had visitors. Besides, he's in Longyu recently, and the camp's senior members basically know this. It's about to be dawn, who could be coming now? Xiao Yu walked curiously asking, who is it? It's me, open the door. Hearing the voice outside, Xiao Yu's expression froze, instantly revealing a hint of nervousness. Xiao Ning immediately pulled her brother up from the chair, walking with Xiao Yu to the front door and opened it. Greetings, leader. Xiao Hen was somewhat puzzled at first, But when the door opened and he saw the person in black outside, his expression became instantly tense. "GR greetings, leader." If Xiao Ning hadn't pulled him, Xiao Hen might have taken longer to react. The visitor was indeed the leader. Though Xiao Hen had been with Great Xia for over a year, he had never seen Xia Hong this close, hurriedly bowed in respect. Even his voice trembled slightly. It wasn't fear, mainly excitement. Throughout over a year's stay in Great Xia, Xiao Hen heard countless legendary tales about leader Xia Hong. At 18, succeeded as the Great Xia leader, led over 100 in the camp to escape death from the deceitful monster, while in the logging realm ventured alone to hunt cold beasts. Upon breaking through to the earth-digging realm, aided Rojal camp in annihilating a deceitful monster, took Twin Dragon Valley from Luo Ming, then unified Redwood Ridge, drove away the rodent off the North Slope mountain wall, first to hunt intermediate cold beasts, earliest to break through to the cold resistance level. Like many young people in Great Xia, continually immersed, Xiao Hen holds an overwhelming admiration towards Xia Hong. Such enthusiasm can't even be adequately described by the term idolization. It's already reached extreme fanaticism. Suddenly seeing Xia Hong up close left him naturally exuberant. "No need for such formality among family. Let's head inside, it's cold outside." Xia Hong chuckled as he spoke, first entered the house, noticing the refined decor inside Xia Chuan's house, nodded with satisfaction, said, "Xia Chuan should have treated both of you sisters well." Since Xia Hong seldom appears normally in the camp, needless to say Xiao Hen, the expressions of sisters Xiao Ning and Xiao Yu were obviously somewhat tense. Upon hearing his light-hearted joke, their faces flushed, expressions slightly relaxed. "Leader, the elder brother is joking. The husband treats us very well. He's in Longyu these days, and his contribution value usage goes directly to both of us." Xia Hong smiled and nodded. He knew about it too. A husband being away and handing over his contribution value usage rights to his wife is currently the mode of most families in Great Xia. He glanced at Xiao Ning's belly, indeed sensed a faint pulse of life, immediately smilingly said, "Xia Chuan kept it from me. Why did both of you hide it from me too? How many months now?" Chapter 625, Chapter 263, Strategizing an Elder Brother is Like a Father. Upon hearing Xia Hong's inquiry, Xiao Ning's face turned red at once. After a long while she answered in a voice as faint as a mosquito's, "Brother, it's been almost 2 months." Xiao Yu saw the scene and covered her mouth, secretly giggling on the side. "It's only May now, and since Ice Abyss requires a 10-month pregnancy, with only 2 months in, it's probably going to be born early next year. This would be the family's first second-generation member. In this regard, Xia Chuan, this younger brother, is indeed stronger than me." The smile on Xia Hong's face grew even brighter. He took out 2 large and 1 small porcelain bottles from his bosom, directly handed them to Xiao Ning, and said with a smile, "Speaking of which, as the elder brother, I haven't paid much attention to you all, and I even heard about your pregnancy from others, which is a bit irresponsible. These 3 bottles of spirit pills are my gifts to you too." The 3 bottles were clearly labeled: Beast Spirit Pill, Blood Essence Pill, Yangyuan Pill. Xiao Ning has been staying in the camp most of the time because of her pregnancy, but still had to visit the camp supply department often. These 3 pills, she knew, only went on sale in the camp supply department a few days ago. The Beast Spirit Pill is an enhanced version of the Beast Essence Pill, with each capsule costing 200 contribution points. The Blood Essence Pill is even more precious, used only after reaching the earth-digging realm limit to reshape the skin membrane, with each costing 700 contribution points. The Yangyuan Pill needs no mention. It's a cold resistance level cultivation spirit pill, each costing 3,000 contribution points. Moreover, all 3 kinds of pills have personal exchange limits, which implies that the camp supply department stock is limited. Xiao Ning took the 3 porcelain bottles and felt the amount of pills inside, her breath pausing for a moment. But she still immediately opened her mouth to decline, saying, "Big brother, please don't think that way. Actually, upon learning about my pregnancy, my husband wanted to inform you right away. But considering how busy you are daily, we thought it better to wait until after the baby is born before telling you. I can't accept these pills." However, Xia Hong interrupted her directly, waving his hand and said, "Your basic strength is already 27,000. With this batch of beast spirit pills and beast meat, along with a few visits to the martial arts academy, Breaking through to a 30,000 pounds limit in a few months shouldn't be hard. I'll have someone bring you 500 pounds of beast blood later, and you should try to break through to the cold resistance level as soon as possible, hopefully before giving birth." Upon this, Xia Hong paused a bit before continuing. "These things aren't just a gift for you. Breaking through to the cold resistance level is beneficial for the future talent of the child within you." Hearing this, Xiao Ning's face showed a slight pause. Knowing she had no chance to refuse, she felt somewhat touched. "This room feels a bit lonely. I'll have Qiu Peng arrange 2 maids for you, so someone can help take care of things in daily life." Hearing that maids were going to be arranged for her, Xiao Ning instinctively wanted to refuse. In fact, after capturing Wushuang, Beehive, and Hankyang recently, they had also taken in quite a few female captives, but the maid position had never been opened by the camp's supply department, clearly preparing for something later. Currently in Great Xia, only Xia Hong as the leader is qualified to have maids, while others using them would be overstepping the bounds. This is one of Great Xia's current rules, and Xia Hong giving her maids clearly goes against the norms. "All right, I'll make sure to inform Qiu Peng, don't worry." However, Xia Hong still didn't give her a chance to refuse. After speaking, he still smilingly asked, "The child's name hasn't been decided yet, has it?" Upon hearing this question, Xiao Ning suddenly recalled something and replied, "Not yet. My husband once said, the eldest brother is like a father. It's his first child and also our Xia family's first second-generation member, so it should be named by you, elder brother." Hearing this, Xia Hong's expression became somewhat moved. This indeed sounded like something Xia Chuan would say. He pondered for a moment before his face showed a bit of difficulty. Coming up with a name starting with Xia really is not easy. If not chosen well, it could become a joke. What can be associated with Xia while still sounding nice? Seeing him ponder deeply, neither Xiao Ning nor Xiao Yu interrupted but continued to wait. Soon Xia Hong's eyes lit up. "The girl will be Xia Yuning and the boy will be Xia Yuzong. How about that?" Hearing these 2 names, Xiao Ning's eyes instantly sparkled. "Yuning, Yuzong, elder brother, these names are just perfect. Haha, not too bad." Upon hearing this, Xia Hong's face also showed a bit of pride, laughing heartily a few times, not forgetting to tease Xiao Yu beside Xiao Ning, saying, "Keep it up, what your sister has you won't lack either." Xiao Yu immediately lowered her head, her face also blushing red in an instant. Seeing her thin-skinned, Xia Hong didn't continue to tease but turned with a smile to the boy behind the 2 girls, saying, "You're Xiao Hen, right? The leader remembers my name." A look of astonishment flashed across Xiao Hen's face at first, then a burst of intense joy erupted in his eyes. He bowed to Xia Hong and said, "Xiao Hen greets the leader. Weren't you curious about the competition rules of the Logging Realm group? Let me leak a bit of insider news, how about it?" So the leader knew all about my little thoughts. Xiao Hen couldn't help but hear the teasing tone in Xia Hong's words. His face was full of embarrassment, and he stammered for a long time, not daring to answer him. "Haha, your elder sister and second sister are right. The first round screening mechanism in the Logging Realm is, strength isn't the deciding factor. Luck, connections, ability, teamwork are all indispensable. That's all I'll reveal to you. Whether or not you can seize the opportunity is up to you." Xia Hong, rarely in the mood to tease someone, took a few steps towards the outside and continued. "The first prize in the Logging Realm is 30 beast spirit pills, 1,000 pounds of intermediate beast meat, 3,000 contribution points, a set of 100 forged weapons and armor, a 10-day martial arts hall cultivation quota, and 20 pounds of refined salt." Right, those who place in both the Logging Realm and Earth-Digging Realm groups will have an opportunity to observe the cold resistance level group's competition up close. "Kid, I hope to see you there then." Hearing this, Xiao Hen's breathing became heavier, and even after Xia Hong walked far away, he didn't come back to his senses for a long time. Chapter 626, Chapter 264, Supplies Delivered, News from Long Mountain. Second year of Great Xia, May 20. Wushuang Giant Stone Camp, top floor hall of the main building. Xia Chuan sat at the head seat, smiling as if waiting for something. "Greetings, Minister." "Greetings, Minister." Soon, Chen Yingba and Wu Tangxing came in from outside the door, their faces immediately showing some delight. They each greeted Xia Chuan and then sat down below. "How is it, the taste of the Yongyuan pill? Not bad, right?" Seeing the delight on their faces, and considering their 2 days of seclusion earlier, Xia Chuan immediately guessed that both had already taken the Yangyuan pill each had in hand, so he teasingly remarked. Qiu Peng sent over 4 Yangyuan pills on the 10th of May, but at that time only he and Zhao Long dared to consume them. Chen Yingba and Wu Tianxing were obviously a bit uneasy about the Dan medicine bestowed by Great Xia, so they didn't dare to take it. Until 3 days ago, when Qiu Peng came again, bringing a handwritten note from Chen Yingyuan and letters from Wu Tianxing's family, only then did the two completely set their minds at ease. Detecting Xia Chuan's teasing tone, Chen and Wu showed some unease on their faces but quickly returned to delight and answered one after another. Chen Yingba, the effect of this Yangyuan pill is too potent, at least 3 times that of the Jade bone medicine. With such a divine pill given by the leader, I, Chen, will henceforth, along with my big brother, follow the leader's commands. Wu Tianxing, with the leader's grace of bestowing the pill, I, Wu, have nothing to repay. In the future, no matter how difficult, I will follow the leader's orders without hesitation. Hearing their words, Xia Chuan just nodded slightly and smiled without speaking. Their declaration was actually of little importance. Chen Yingba was clearly following Chen Yingyuan. According to Qiu Peng's description, both Chen Yingyuan and Peng Bo had already opened their hearts to Xia Hong. Therefore, whether they declared or not was actually irrelevant. As for Wu Tianxing, it's even more apparent. His entire family is in Xia City, making it impossible for him to have second thoughts. The factors that prompted these two to make such declarations were the news about Xia City brought by Qiu Peng, and possibly the shock brought by the Yangyuan pill. To make those like Chen Yingba and Wu Tianxing, at the cold resistance level, truly loyal to Great Xia, in the end, it still requires offering benefits that captivate them. This Yangyuan pill is undoubtedly one of them. Xia Chuan understood very well why his big brother specifically had Qiu Peng deliver the Yangyuan pills. But today, calling these two was for another matter. There are only 10 days left before the martial competition officially starts. Both Wushuang and Hankyang posts don't have many people. Currently, there's no one in charge at the Beehive post. I plan to send you two there to work with Hong Tian to oversee the martial competition at the Beehive. How about it? There are no ordinary people left at the 3 posts in Longyu. All remaining are in the logging realm and earth-digging realm. Since the Beehive is a relay point between Longyu and Redwood Ridge, it gathers the most in earth-digging and logging realms, so naturally the martial competition requires more people to manage. Wushuang and Hankyang still have defense duties, so Xia Chuan took Hong Tian from Hankyang's group of 4, and took Chen Yingba and Wu Tianxing from his side to let the 3 of them be responsible for the martial competition at the Beehive. No problem. But Minister, when will the martial competition for our cold resistance level start? Wu Tianxing immediately agreed, and Chen Yingba also nodded, but he thought of something and asked. When Qiu Peng first delivered the Yangyuan pills, he had already told them the rewards for the cold resistance level martial competition group. After taking the Yangyuan pill, they clearly started to pay more attention to the martial competition. Indeed, just one match could earn a Yangyuan pill. Even Zai Chuan himself was quite tempted by the rewards of the martial competition. After sorting this out, Xia Chuan smiled and said, "The cold resistance level martial competition will be personally overseen by the leader. It will start after the logging realm and earth-digging realm groups conclude. Rest assured, you will be informed once it starts." Both bowed and nodded, looking very pleased. Remembering what Qiu Peng had previously said about the martial competition rules, Chen Yingba looked incredibly excited. With my strength about 6 manes, even if the top 3 is out of reach, as long as I don't encounter the minister, Yu Wendao, Peng Bo, or my big brother, getting past 2 rounds shouldn't be a big problem. If lucky, I could at most get 3 Yangyuan pills. Wu Tianxing had a similar expression. Clearly, both had thought of the same thing. Time is of the essence. You two should set off for the Beehive now. You know the competition rules for the logging and earth-digging realm groups. Follow the rules and return to Wushuang when it's over. Yes, we will take our leave. Both got up, saluted Xia Chuan and left the hall directly. Just after Chen and Wu left, Zhao Long came in with excitement. "Sir, the supplies from Long Mountain have been unloaded." Upon hearing this, Xia Chuan immediately perked up and asked, "This is the 3rd batch. How much is there?" 1 million caddies of beast meat, 5 million caddies of iron ore, 10 million caddies of coal. Together with the first 2 batches, All the supplies that Long Mountain had promised have been fully delivered. Ha ha ha, good, truly the overlord of Longyu. Li Xuanling is much more straightforward than Hu Hu. Next time Long Mountain requests solidified fire oil, we can sell a bit more. Xia Chuan's face was all smiles. He had been waiting for Zhao Long in the main hall, and arranging for Chen and Wu to be in charge of the Beehive Martial competition was just a side task. This time Long Mountain sent Zhou Yuan and Meng Ying, a total of 10 large carts, with 200 earth-digging realm pushing the carts along. I heard it took 4 days, tusk. Zhao Long's tone was somewhat sighing, clearly shocked by the sight of those carts loaded with goods. Xia Chuan laughed. This batch of supplies just in weight is 16 million caddies. I remember the first batch arrived on the 8th of May, with 1 million caddies of beast meat, 10 million caddies of iron ore, and 20 million caddies of coal stone. A total of 31 million caddies of goods took 10 days to deliver. This batch is half the weight, taking a little more than half the time makes sense. Chapter 627, Chapter 264, Supplies Delivered, News from Long Mountain 2. Zhao Long nodded. May 8th, May 15th, today is May 20th. He was responsible for receiving all 3 batches of supplies, so he naturally knew everything clearly. However, he continued to sigh. 3 batches of supplies were sent in succession, with almost no gaps in between. This means that these supplies weren't even accumulated over time by Long Mountain. They were taken directly from their reserves. This Long Mountain is indeed wealthy. I recall that our great Xia's beast meat inventory never exceeded 1.5 million jin at its peak, yet they casually brought out 3 million jin, not to mention the iron ore and coal stone. Upon hearing this, Xia Chuan nodded, his expression suddenly becoming somewhat solemn. Zhao Long's words revealed more than just Long Mountain's wealth. The ability to casually bring out such large quantities of supplies also testifies to Long Mountain's strength. No wonder, I've observed the war armor and weapons of the Longyu army soldiers. Although the forging techniques aren't as refined as ours in Great Xia, they're all at the 100 forged level. On average, forging a single set requires at least 50,000 jin of iron ore. Considering this, an army of 1,000 soldiers would consume more than 50 million jin of iron ore just for their armor and weapons, assuming each has only 1 set. Yet, Long Mountain has 3 such 1,000-man armies. The presence of 3,000 Longyu army in Great Xia is no longer a secret. After listening to Zhao Long, Xia Chuan frowned slightly and said in a deep voice, "After all, they've been the dominant force in Longyu for nearly 50 years and control the largest entrance of Long Mountain. It's normal for them to have substantial reserves." Zhao Long nodded, thinking of something, and continued, "This Hu Hu is really annoying. It's been almost a month Long Mountain sent everything, yet he only delivered 2 batches of supplies, totaling 600,000 jin of beast meat, 3 million jin of iron ore, and 9 million jin of coal stone, not even a fifth of the total. I don't know if he's truly poor or has other plans." Seeing Zhao Long's final question, Xia Chuan's eyes flashed with a cold light. He shook his head and said, "As long as he doesn't blatantly cheat, we don't need to bother. As long as he wants to keep buying solidified fire oil from us, he will eventually deliver the rest of the supplies." With 200 jin of jade bone, 400 jin of silver, and 11 types of spiritual medicine, this trade is already profitable for Great Xia. Million jin of beast meat, 20 million jin of iron ore, 50 million jin of coal stone. This amount is indeed enormous. Xia Chuan wasn't as optimistic as now at first. He just thought to make an outrageous demand. Even if they delivered half or even a third, Great Xia would still have profited greatly. But now that Long Mountain has delivered everything, while Hu Hu has only sent so little, Xia Chuan naturally has more thoughts about Zhejiang camp. As long as they have solidified fire oil in hand, there's always a way to deal with Hu Hu. Moreover, whether that white Dugu is dead or not is still in question. Who knows what might happen next? Xia Chuan collected his thoughts and turned to look out the window, seeing that the sky was already showing a trace of light, and promptly asked, "It's almost dawn. How will there more than 200 people leave?" The previous 2 times Long Mountain sent people, they arrived at the first half of the night, delivered the supplies, and left immediately. This time, they might not have timed it well. It's not that they can't leave, it's just that it's troublesome at daybreak, and they won't be able to go far before needing to find a place to hide. Rather than that, it would be better to stay and rest for 4 hours, leaving after nightfall. Zhao Long replied, "I left them. Zhou Yuan and Meng Ying didn't want to stay, they left directly. The remaining more than 200 Earth-Digging Realm members, I've already arranged for them to have a room. They'll leave after nightfall. Xia Chuan nodded and asked, the martial contest will start in 10 days, and there aren't many people on Wushwang's side. I'll leave it to you to handle. How about it? No problem. Upon hearing about the martial contest, Zhao Long's expression immediately became excited. On one hand, he was very eager for the reward of the cold resistance level martial contest. On the other hand, it's also considered a major event in Great Xia, naturally stirring his enthusiasm. There are only 1,000 garrison troops on Wushwang's side, plus those who have recently broken through, totaling just over 1,000 Earth-Digging Realm. The Logging Realm has just over 3,000 people, so few people, according to Qiu Peng's method of selection for the preliminary contest 3 days ago. The number who can advance smoothly will be even fewer. The workload isn't too large. Upon hearing this, Xia Chuan laughed lightly. That's true. I've paid some attention recently, and among Wushwang's Earth-Digging Realm, there are over 70 people who have surpassed the 3 million jin limit, 90% of whom have just broken through. Currently, only Liu Yuan can be confirmed to make it to the list. The others, even if some are lucky enough to win 10 matches consecutively, but when it comes to comparing victory times, entering the top 128 is unlikely. Hankyang's situation should be similar to ours, and Beehive has very few Earth-Digging Realm, making hopes for advancement even slimmer. As for the Logging Realm, let's not even mention it. According to the preliminary standards set by Qiu Peng, I estimate that from the 3 Longyu outposts, among over 12,000 Logging Realm, there might not even be 10 groups able to advance to Xia City for the second round of the contest. Halata. Upon hearing this, Zhao Long laughed heartily and said, Minister, you're overestimating them. The preliminary standards set by Qiu Peng are too difficult. At most, 5 groups, and I even doubt there will be that many. Xia Chuan's expression paused slightly. He pondered for a moment, then nodded. Indeed, the preliminary selection method thought up by Qiu Peng is indeed too difficult for these Logging Realm members, and not many might make it through to Xia City. Minister, I'll go prepare then. All right, go ahead. Xia Chuan saw Zhao Long off, then returned to the main seat, picked up a wooden coal pen, took out a large pile of beast skin rolls, and carefully referred to them while sketching the map of Longyu on the table. Chapter 628, Chapter 264, Supplies Delivered, News from Long Mountain 3. He has been stationed in Longyu for over 20 days now, and he hasn't been idle. Taking advantage of this period without battles, he dispatched over 100 scouts of the Earth-Digging Realm to survey around Wushwang, thoroughly understanding the surrounding terrain, including the borders with other camps. Luo Ming mentioned that 3 years ago, Yang Ning and Li Hu were scouts for the defensive army of Beishuo Town. The reason they ventured into Redwood Ridge was due to orders to map the surroundings of Beishuo Town. This shows the importance of maps. Only by fully understanding your surroundings can you catch the enemy off guard and achieve victory when real battles occur. The importance of the maps is just one aspect. A flash of light crossed Xia Chuan's eyes. More importantly, the incident 3 years ago was enough to prove that the distance between Great Xia and Beishuo Town should not be far. Otherwise, Yang and Li would not have mistakenly entered Redwood Ridge. This also means that someday in the future, Great Xia could very likely come across Beishuo Town, or even the other 8 towns of Mo Mountain. If such a day really comes, Xia Chuan does not want it to be like 3 years ago. He still clearly remembers the kick from Li Hu. Xia Chuan's focus on drawing maps only lasted over 10 minutes before he was interrupted by footsteps outside. The one who entered was Liu Yuan, the deputy leader of the Cloud Jiao team, with a trace of anger on his face, clearly in a bad mood. Seeing Liu Yuan's expression, Xia Chuan couldn't help but find it amusing. Liu Yuan had long since started using beast blood, and now his basic strength was over 80,000, making him one of the top 10 contenders in this Earth-Digging Realm division. Lately, he's been hiding away in closed cultivation for half a month, and it must have been something interrupting him that put him in such a foul mood. What happened? Upon hearing Xia Chuan's inquiry, Liu Yuan managed to calm some of his emotions and reported with cupped hands. Minister, we caught a sneaky person downstairs. He's the one who came from Long Mountain tonight to deliver supplies. He claims to be Li Hu and insists that he has something important to discuss with you. Once you meet him, you'll understand. As he mentioned Li Hu, Liu Yuan kept a close eye on Xia Chuan's expression. When he saw Xia Chuan's face remain unchanged, Liu Yuan immediately realized that the person he had just captured was telling the truth, and he hurriedly called out to the hallway. "Bring the person in." Soon after his voice fell, two great Xia soldiers brought in a young man dressed in the white outfit of Long Mountain. The restrained Li Hu looked helpless, but upon seeing Xia Chuan, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Before the others could unbind him, he quickly spoke. "Li Hu greets Minister. Unlock him and all of you leave." Seeing Li Hu salute Xia Chuan as soon as he came in, Liu Yuan was momentarily stunned. Following Xia Chuan's words, he quickly understood what was happening and indicated to the others to leave them alone. "Not bad, you've made quite some progress in these over 20 days. Xia Chuan looked at Li Hu for a moment before smiling and praising him. In over 20 days, Li Hu's basic strength had reached 29,000, just a step away from the 30,000 pounds limit. "Thanks to the medicines and beast meat you gave me, Li Hu is deeply grateful." Having been caught by Liu Yuan, Li Hu should have suffered a bit. While replying, he kept rubbing his arms, a wry smile on his face. "You dared to barge in here. You've got quite the guts. If someone else had found you first, you might have lost your life. This main building, let alone Zhao Long, Chen Yingyuan and Wu Tianxing, has plenty who have surpassed the 30,000 pounds limit, and many with higher basic strength than Li Hu. If they let him break in rashly, it would be a disaster." Li Hu had evidently learned his lesson, a trace of lingering fear on his face as he replied, "I almost did lose my life just now. Minister, please give me something to prove my identity. The risks I'm taking to meet you are just too great otherwise." Xia Chuan shook his head with a smile, thought for a moment, then took out an iron token inscribed with the words Cloud Jiao from his chest and tossed it to Li Hu. "This is my hunting team token. Keep it for now and don't randomly intrude again. Zhou Yuan and Meng Ying have already left, so it shouldn't be difficult to avoid your own people's sight. If you encounter someone from Great Xia, let them bring you here directly. Don't sneak around." Xia Chuan paused and continued to ask, "Do you have important information?" Barging into the supply delivering group and taking such risks to see him meant Li Hu surely had something to report. Li Hu nodded and without hesitation took out a beast skin roll. "Minister, this is a map of the Long Mountain camp, covering all buildings and population distribution within, with detailed records of everything about Long Mountain known to me. These were compiled with Yang Zhang over the past 20 days back there, and should be useful for our great Xia." A gleam of concentration flashed in Xia Chuan's eyes as he stepped forward to take the beast skin roll. After unfolding and examining it, his eyes were full of delight. Taking a deep breath before looking at Li Hu again, he continued to ask, "Do you have anything else to report?" "Yes." Li Hu's face turned solemn as he continued. "Li Xuanxiang, Cheng Guang, Yue Kaiyan, and Song Kang, along with over 400 Longyu army members, have all returned to Long Mountain." Upon hearing these names, Xia Chuan's expression first froze, then turned serious as he collected himself. "Minister, you should know that these people were those who disappeared after the attack on Yanglu, and they all returned half a month ago." Xia Chuan frowned and quickly asked, "Li Xuanling can't be that foolish, right? Did she just let them all into the camp?" Li Hu nodded. Li Xuanling and the others were suspicious. Initially, they didn't let them in and used the solidified fire oil to test them, but they all checked out. To ensure safety, Long Mountain had them stay outside the camp for a full 7 days, using various methods to test them. Only after confirming that everyone was fine did they let them into the camp. Solidified fire oil was exchanged from Great Xia, and Li Hu knew this. So after explaining, seeing Xia Chuan fall into deep thought, unsurprised, he continued, "Since switching to our solidified fire oil, Long Mountain's dewdrop plague has completely vanished. Li Xuanxiang's group appeared perfectly normal, and it's been 7 to 8 days since they entered the camp, with no reappearance of the plague, so they should be fine." Xia Chuan interrupted Li Hu with a wave of his hand. Given Li Hu's cultivation and perspective, his assessments couldn't be relied upon. However, this piece of news was crucial for Great Xia. With a hint of praise on his face, he spoke, "Li Hu, the 2 pieces of information you brought are both very useful. Continue to find opportunities to relay any significant developments." Stopping here, Xia Chuan paused, then took out a porcelain bottle from his chest and went to the back of the hall to take 2 leather bags. This bottle contains beast spirit pills, which are several times more potent than beast essence pills. Additionally, here are 200 pounds of beast blood. Split it with Yang Zhang evenly. If you lack anything else for your cultivation, find an opportunity to come to Wushwang. Let's end our meeting here for tonight. Head back now and evade any unusual attention. Having tasted the benefits of beast essence pills, Li Hu's breathing became heavier upon hearing that the beast spirit pills were several times more potent. After calming himself, he accepted the porcelain bottle, picked up the 200 pounds of beast blood, and reverently bowed to Xia Chuan, stating, "I will take my leave now. Rest assured, Minister, any abnormalities at Long Mountain will be promptly reported." With that, he turned and left. Big Brother's foresight is indeed sharp. These two truly are talents. After watching Li Hu leave, Xia Chuan returned to his main seat, his gaze resting on the beast skin roll Li Hu brought, with excitement still surging within him. Chapter 629, Chapter 265, The Martial Tournament officially begins, Advancement impossible. Second year of Great Xia, June 1. The Great Xia Martial Arts Tournament, brewed for over 20 days, finally began. Even before nightfall, every house within Xia City lit up with firelight in advance. Countless shadows dashed around, and noises of clanging and banging came from within the houses, clearly indicating they were donning armor and preparing weapons. Once night fell officially, everyone immediately stepped out of their homes and gathered along the streets heading towards the gate of the outer city. "Hurry, hurry, it's about to start. Let's grab a good spot." "Sis, let's go." "Mom, bring my sword quick." "I'm hitting out now, Dad." "Big Brother, I'm going in first, good luck." "Gully." In the inner city, sprightly youths were the first to rush out from their homes. They had clear goals, heading straight to the outer city once they were out the door. Xiao Hen, Xiao Lin, and their cousins Xiao Jing and Xiao Sen also agreed to walk out together from their homes. Their homes were also in the inner city, and not far from the iron gate of the inner city, so they saw a large crowd of peers as soon as they stepped out. All four wore iron armor, carried a 5-stone bow on their backs, along with a quiver of arrows and a primary weapon, making them extremely armed for their age. Perhaps it was the first time wearing armor, Xiao Lin's expression showed some obvious pride, but upon seeing the crowd on the main street, his face turned blank. How come there are so many armored people? The camp supply department had already announced during the group division of the logging realm yesterday that after nightfall tonight, the group division preliminary of the logging realm would begin first, near the city gate of Xia City. Thus at this moment, those walking toward the city gate, apart from a few women and common folk just coming to watch the excitement, were easily identifiable whether they were participants in the tournament. The problem was Xiao Lin could see anyone of similar age heading to participate in the martial arts tournament, all armored and geared. Hardly anyone was in regular clothes. Xiao Hen had anticipated this and laughed. "They're all from the inner city. A set of 10 forged armor and a 5-stone bow costs only 280 contribution value. Which household couldn't afford that? Banking on this for promotion is overthinking." Xiao Lin nodded. 280 contribution value is nothing. Not only could the 4,000 or so households in the inner city afford it, but there were also many in the outer city who could, and armor and 5-stone bow were likely standard equipment for this Logging Realm Group Division martial arts tournament. "Look at Zhao Yuandao and Zhao Yunkang. Why is the armor they're wearing golden?" Upon hearing Xiao Lin's words, Xiao Hen and the other three hurriedly turned their heads to look in the direction he pointed. Upon seeing, the faces of the three instantly turned much more serious. Zhao Yuandao and Zhao Yunkang were also heading toward the outer city, about 20 meters away. The 10 forged armor they wore emitted a layer of golden light. That's 10 forged armor forged with Thunder Q's skull, currently mostly worn by members of the intermediate hunting team in the camp. To think their family custom-made a set too. Hearing Xiao Sen's words, Xiao Hen remembered something and nodded. "I heard from my father that the camp is currently encouraging members of the intermediate hunting team to switch to 100 forged armor and weapons. The camp supply department recycled a lot of 10 forged Thunder Q's armor, which costs 700 contribution value to exchange, and requires booking 3 days in advance for a tailored fit. These siblings are indeed generous with their money. Contribution value is not much, but 700 contribution value is a bit high. The key is even if exchanged, it doesn't ensure promotion, so there definitely aren't many willing to spend that money." Xiao Jing shook his head and said, "Definitely, their father is Lord Zhao Hu himself, an expert at cold resistance level, and the steel main team is very strong. Their family surely wouldn't lack contribution value. The three nodded in agreement. The siblings Zhao Yuandao and Zhao Yuankang not only have a good father, but their two uncles are also cold resistance-level experts, each leading strong hunting teams. Zhao Lin, while walking and observing the crowd, counted the number of people wearing light gold armor, and his face turned dark after a round. Turning to Zhao Hen, he said, "Ah Hen, it's not good. I scanned around, and there really are quite a few, at least over 100 have switched to light gold armor. Our preliminary competition is truly uncertain. Should have asked father for some contribution value to exchange for a set." Zhao Hen laughed and shook his head. "Don't worry, I already told you, the preliminary selection, strength, isn't necessarily the decisive factor. Wearing slightly better armor won't have much effect, just relax." Zhao Lin, however, had a different opinion, saying, "But wasn't the grouping already done last night? 100 per group, many are guessing that a group has only 5 advancement spots." Zhao Jing and Zhao Sen also nodded. The camp had divided over 16,000 logging realm participants into 172 groups last night, with 100 per group. Although the method of the preliminary competition hasn't been announced, in their hearts, they guessed it would be intragroup combat, with the last winner advancing. It's impossible. Guangxia City alone has 17,000. Huayuan Territory, Jing Valley, Wushuang, Hankyang, Beehive have 15,000 across 5 venues. In total, over 32,000 people, 300 plus groups. Even if compared to Earth-Digging Realm by matches won and victory duration, it would take over half a month. Intragroup combat for a month would be impossible. Despite Zhao Hen's confident tone, Zhao Lin and the three did not hide their suspicion. Seeing the three disbelieve him, Zhao Hen did not continue arguing, instead shifting topics to ask, "I'm in group 51, which group are you all placed in?" Zhao Lin, "I'm in group 29. Zhao Jing, "I'm in group 88. Chapter 630, Chapter 265. The martial tournament officially begins, advancement impossible 2. Zhao Sen, "I'm in group 102. Upon hearing the group numbers, Zhao Hen shook his head in disappointment. There was nothing he could do. There were just too many groups in the logging realm here in Xia City. With 172 groups, it was indeed difficult for the 4 of them to end up in the same group. But Zhao Lin and the others clearly didn't share his thoughts. The trio still believed that it must be intra-group competition. Not being placed in the same group meant the 4 brothers naturally wouldn't have to compete against each other, which was a good thing. The 4 of them quickly mingled with the crowd, passing through the iron gates of the inner city, entering the outer city. Nearing 70,000 people from Longyu were housed in temporary large wooden huts, so the outer city's buildings weren't as dense as those in the inner city. After passing through a small cluster of buildings, it became quite open, and they could soon see the city gates in the distance. The moment they saw the city gates, everyone suddenly froze. Near the gates, 5 massive square iron cages had been erected, towering unexpectedly, each estimated to be 200 meters wide and 20 meters high. The setup inside the 10 iron cages was similar, featuring rock-formed fake mountains, several half-cut massive trees, towering snow slopes, and very deep trenches and snow pits. "What's this for? Are we supposed to enter for free-for-all battles?" "That's likely it, 100-person melee, leaving only a few victors. Otherwise, why group us like this? It must be a melee. But we're all equipped with weapons. How is victory determined?" "Exactly, how do we know who's been eliminated?" "During last night's grouping, they mentioned that you could bring your own weapons and armor and even prepare medicine. For a 100-person melee, there are bound to be casualties." The sight of the iron cages sparked immediate discussion among the crowd. Most people voiced their inner speculations directly. Only a few, after pondering for a while, had flickering expressions, clearly seeing something yet intentionally keeping it to themselves. Zhao Hen too was observing. After staring at the iron cages for a long time, his expression suddenly changed, as if he had figured something out. He turned to find Zhao Lin and the others already starting to split up to locate their group teams. He quickly rushed forward to stop them. "Ah Lin, wait a moment, I think I've figured it out." The 3 stopped at his call and gathered together. With a serious expression, Zhao Hen lowered his voice and quickly instructed, "Once you've found your group, quickly get acquainted with the others. I suspect. All contestants, you have one last 100 breath time to return to your group. Anyone who hasn't found their team by then will be eliminated unconditionally. Starting countdown now, 199, 98, 97. Xia Hong wanted to say more, but the camp supply department staff member overseeing the event from above the gate had already started the countdown. He had no choice but to stop speaking, separate from Xia Lin and the others, and find his own team. Around the 10 iron cages, numbered wooden signs were already erected, clearly indicating numbers from 1 to 172, which evidently corresponded to the group numbers, and many people were already standing under these signs. Despite long-term exposure to harsh environments like the ice abyss, even without rigorous training, human organization is naturally strong, which is why the camp supply department only allotted 100 breath time. 10987. 17,000 people quickly formed into 172 small formations around the 10 iron cages, aligned with those wooden numbered signs. 321, time S up. With the countdown ending, no one was wandering on the plaza. Everyone stood with their group. Good, not bad. Qiu Peng's voice replaced the camp supply department worker, S, stepping onto the city's gate, first smiling and praising them. As one of the 6 ministry directors and one of the few cold resistance level experts in the camp, Qiu Peng's authority was recognized. As he spoke, over 10,000 people immediately fell silent, all looking up at the gate, quietly waiting for his next words. I know many of you have been inquiring over the past few days, trying to figure out the selection method for the pre-qualifiers. I specifically instructed everyone not to leak any information, so I can assure you that among the 17,000 here, and the 15,000 in the other 5 sub-arenas, not a single person knows the pre-selection method. Qiu Peng, with a bit of self-satisfaction, glanced over the 172 formations below, a gleam in his eyes as he continued, weapons, armor, medicine. I've mentioned it last night, apart from your parents, you're allowed to bring anything that enhances combat power. After Qiu Peng said this, a burst of laughter erupted from below. Unlike the earth-digging realm, the logging realm contestants ranged from as young as 9 to over 20, with a vast age disparity. This led many younger contestants to focus less on the competition itself, instead attempting to glean insights from their parents or have them exchange contribution values at the camp supply department for weapons, armor, or medicine. In summary, there were various strategies, all hoping to pass the preliminaries by exploiting loopholes. I specifically instructed everyone not to leak any information. When Qiu Peng said this, his face showed a smug confidence that the pre-selection method hadn't been leaked, providing a subtle lesson to those hoping to take shortcuts. Top the city gate, Qiu Peng gestured for silence and, once the crowd settled, continued, "All right, I see you've prepared your weapons, armor, and medicine well. Without further ado, I'll directly announce today's pre-selection method." Chapter 631. Chapter 265. The Martial Tournament officially begins. Advancement Impossible 3. Qiu Peng turned around and nodded to Yuan Cheng and the others behind him. Bang clunk. Suddenly, the sound of huge iron chains came from below Qiu Peng. Everyone looked down and realized that the huge iron gate, 15 meters high and 8 meters wide, suspended in midair, was moving. Roars, roars, roar. From behind the city gate, several roars suddenly came closer and closer. What's that sound? It sounds like cold beasts. What cold beasts? It's really cold beasts. I've heard their roars before, it's them. It indeed is. Don't you remember the last cold beast tide? We've all heard them. Why are there cold beasts? With the roars getting closer and never stopping, the 100 or so formations in the city's main square immediately became restless. Roar! An angry roar came from behind the gate, followed by Yuan Cheng, dressed in black, walking in with a smile while holding a chain in one hand. Behind that chain was tied a long-tongued snow mane. The snow mane was over 3 meters long, its blood-red pupils staring hard at Yuan Cheng. It was panting heavily through its nostrils, its back spines all cut off, but its limbs were still struggling on the ground, making the accumulated snow churn continuously. The momentum was quite terrifying. The roar it let out seemed to shock people, but some brave souls could clearly see its long tongue in its mouth had been directly tied into a dead knot. It's really a live cold beast. It seems to have suffered some injuries. Long-tongued snow mane, that's Director Yuan. Why did he catch a snow mane? Could it be they're letting us? Well, the moment the long-tongued snow mane appeared, at least half of the people in the square took a slight step back, especially when Yuan Cheng deliberately dragged the iron chain along the main road. The logging realm participants on either side showed deep fear on their faces. Some who were timid even fell. Hesitantly, Yuan Cheng laughed immediately upon seeing the fallen people. In fact, to the logging realm participants of Xia City, including the 60 to 70,000 commoners who recently came from Longyu, cold beasts were not unfamiliar. The hunting team would bring back cold beasts every night, and not just low-level ones, but intermediate cold beasts too. They shouldn't be this scared when seeing cold beasts. The problem was that this snow mane Yuan Cheng had was alive. Of the more than 17,000 logging realm participants in Xia City, those who had truly seen a live cold beast probably wouldn't exceed 1/10, and the vast majority of that 10th had because of the cold beast tide that Jingxian stirred up last March. Indeed, if not for the cold beast tide Jingxian caused, the logging realm of the Great Xia Camp would basically have no opportunity to see a live cold beast. The reason is simple: the logging realm does not have hunting qualifications. When collecting wood in Redwood Ridge in the past, they might run into one or two sleeping ones, but now, with the hunting team of Great Xia continuously growing stronger and more thoroughly clearing the vicinity of Redwood Ridge, their chance of seeing cold beasts became increasingly low. Seeing a cold beast and seeing a cold beast corpse are completely different concepts. Especially the logging realm participants attending the martial meeting tonight, over half are youths aged between 10 to 15. Aside from a very few who experienced the cold beast tide, the rest, apart from having eaten beast meat, basically know nothing about cold beasts. Such a ferocious cold beast appearing right before their eyes was evidently quite intimidating for these children. The door of iron cage number 1 was opened by someone, and Yuan Cheng forcefully pulled the chain, tossing the long-tongued snow mane directly inside, then quickly stepped forward to untie the iron chain from the snow mane. The snow mane was obviously very afraid of Yuan Cheng. As soon as it was untied, it first looked at the cage door, then, upon realizing something, immediately turned and ran towards the fake mountain inside the cage, directly hiding behind the mountain. Hee, at least you're smart enough, close the cage. Yuan Cheng walked out, then signaled others to close the cage. Roared. Another angry roar sounded as everyone turned to look at the city gate. This time it was Yuan Dao, dragging a golden-eyed demon sheep. Like the snow mane just now, the eyes on the back of this demon sheep were all blinded, and the sharp horn on its forehead was ground down, clearly handled. Yuan Dao threw the demon sheep directly into the second iron cage. Roared. As Luo Yuan and the other 8 cold resistance level participants successively arrived, the roars of cold beasts never ceased. Bone Spur Frost Wolf, Blue Moon Elf, Cloud Mist Tengjiao, Golden Armored Thunder Kui, White Bear, Fire Stone Tiger, Frost Electric Ape, Green Thunder Roar. The 8 chains quickly filled up. At the same time, the voice of Qiu Peng on top of the gate sounded again. I can now tell you the method of preselection trial. It's to draw lots to enter an iron cage as a group. By any means necessary, as long as you succeed in hunting the cold beast inside, then the group collectively advances. Well, the square suddenly erupted in a stir, everyone's faces filled with shock. Even for those just over 10 years old and some adult logging realm participants, their expressions instantly went blank. They turned to look at Qiu Peng on the gate, their faces full of doubt and bewilderment. Isn't this sending us to our deaths? What kind of martial meeting is this? It's impossible. Even if these cold beasts are injured, we can't be their match. Our weapons and bows and arrows can't pierce the cold beast's skin. No way, absolutely no way. Even a mature snow mane, its life force is extremely tenacious, with a minimum strength of over 15,000 if not more. Encountering one in the wild, it's hard even to escape, let alone hunt it. How could it be possible? The voices of discussion from the plaza made the faces of the cold resistance level crowd, who had just walked back to the top of the city gate, sink significantly. Especially Qiu Peng, Yuan Cheng, Lin Kai, and Lu Yang, their expressions were very unpleasant. Chapter 632, Chapter 266, Assessment Objective Hell Level Difficulty. So scared before it even starts. Teams of 100, weapons, bows and arrows, armor, Dan medicine. You can bring everything you can carry, and the cold beasts have already been weakened substantially. What's there to fear? Well, none of us have ever actually faced a cold beast, so it's normal to be afraid. The youngest is just over 9 years old. They're half-grown kids. Having them deal with cold beasts is indeed a bit early. This selection method is still a bit early for them. As the crowd below stirred with discussions, the cold resistance level individuals above the city gate also expressed their opinions. Some thought the logging realm individuals below performed poorly, while others believed the preliminary round was too harsh, making these kids face cold beasts now felt premature. Yuan Cheng, Lin Kai, and Lu Yang looked grim, remaining silent. The host Qiu Peng wore an even more somber expression, with a hint of anger. But he didn't say much more, simply yelled downwards. Stop all the nonsense, we're starting the draw now. 10 groups per round, whichever number you draw is the cage number you'll get. Participation in the selection is not compulsory. If more than 1/10 of your team chooses to give up, the whole group is considered to have forfeited. Additionally, there's one rule I forgot to mention earlier. Qiu Peng paused, with a touch of contempt on his face, continued. We won't waste too much time on you parasites and wastes, so each group's assessment time is limited to 1 hour. If you don't succeed in hunting within an hour, you fail. Begin now. Well, not only do they have to hunt cold beasts, but also within an hour. The rule that Qiu Peng added was so extreme that many were in shock, not even noticing how Qiu Peng referred to them. In the director's eyes, are we all just parasites and wastes? In the formation of Group 51, Xia Hong looked around, seeing that most people in the team wore expressions of deep pessimism. Although there was some anger on their faces, deep down, they couldn't help but agree that this label was quite fitting for them. Killing a cold beast within an hour, it's impossible. Our camp's low-level hunting teams have a personnel configuration of 20, a team made up of 20 people from the earth-digging realm, and they can't even ensure a 100% successful hunt. How could we with just us? Most of us are equipped with 5-stone bows, which can't even pierce the cold beast's skin. Should we give up? Qiu Zheng didn't say whether there would be casualties in this selection. If anything unexpected happens, we... Everyone calm down, listen to me. Seeing that some were even contemplating giving up, Xia Hong knew he couldn't just stand by anymore. He interrupted everyone's discussion and walked to the center of the group. Within the camp's circle of young people, Xia Hong still held a certain level of fame. Once he stood up, many recognized him immediately. Is that Xia Hong? Xia Hong is with our team. He's the minister's brother-in-law, right? It's useless. The minister's brother-in-law is just a logging realm too. Xia Hong took a deep breath and continued in a loud voice. I will only ask you one question. Is there any possibility for 100 logging realm individuals working together to hunt a low-level cold beast? Of course not. Impossible. The logging realm doesn't even have the qualification to hunt. No way, absolutely not. It's common knowledge for the ice, abyss, humans that the logging realm cannot hunt. Hearing their unanimous response, Xia Hong did not argue but nodded first. After the crowd quieted down, he continued, I only became a member of Great Xia in April of the first year. Some of you have been here earlier, some later. I'd like to ask those with a bit more experience about one particular tale of a leader. Tell me, is it true or false? Xia Hong paused and then said, when the leader just broke through the logging realm, he went out alone and brought back a young snow mane. Later, when the minister and Yuan Zheng both broke through to the logging realm, the three of them together hunted an adult snow mane that very night. This can't be false, can it? As soon as his words fell, the surrounding crowd instantly fell silent. Everyone looked at each other, and soon some lowered their heads in guilty silence. There are many stories about leader Xia Hong, but the one about hunting a cold beast right after breaking through the logging realm has the highest credibility because many eyewitnesses are still around. Besides, when they practiced martial arts below the main building, many had heard directly from the minister and Yuan Zheng about this incident. Of course, it's true. This happened only 4 years ago. I was one of the eyewitnesses from that very slope. I've just been listening on the sidelines, and to use the words parasites and wastes by Qiu Zheng to describe you all couldn't be more apt. From the back of Team 52 came a contemptuous voice. Upon hearing the words parasites and wastes, a slight anger arose on everyone's faces as they turned to look towards the back. In the back of the team, a young man in light gold armor, holding a horizontal blade, looked at them with a face full of disdain. Beside the young man stood 6 others, around his age, also dressed in light gold armor and holding blades made in Great Xia, mostly with contempt on their faces. Liu Peng, aren't you just a logging realm too? You're just like us, What are you being all arrogant for? Oh yeah? Liu Peng is the one who broke the logging realm record last May. Unlike others, intense reactions, the moment Xiao Hen saw the group of 7 led by Liu Peng, his expression immediately grew much more solemn. Chapter 633, Chapter 266, Assessment Objective Hell Level Difficulty. Their auras are similar to mine, also on the verge of a breakthrough. How is this possible? Liu Peng broke through to the logging realm at the age of 11, and now only a year has passed. He hasn't even turned 13. He's over 3 years younger than me. And the other 6 around him, 2 are about the same age as me. The other 4 are about Liu Yuan's age, clearly looking younger than me. What does this imply? The current record for a breakthrough to the earth-digging realm at the Martial Arts Academy is 15 years and 1 month, set by Hong Xiaokang. This means that the 5 in front of me, if not for this martial selection, could easily break Hong Xiaokang's record. Xiao Hen shifted his gaze from the 7 people around Liu Peng, looking around the whole group 52, then calculated in his mind, the surprise in his eyes growing stronger. Liu Peng's 7, plus myself makes 8, and there are another 7 older in the team, who are clearly on the brink of a breakthrough too, making 15 in total. According to the assessment method, the camp supply department definitely didn't group at random last night. It's very likely that each group has about 15 people on the verge of a breakthrough. This also means that in the 172 groups here in Guangxia City, there's intentionally over 2,500 people not breaking through to the earth-digging realm. Add in the other 5 locations. Big Sis really wasn't lying. There were at least over 2,000 intentionally holding back from breaking through, and now it seems like there might be even more. Xiao Hen swallowed, just calming his shock, when Liu Peng started arguing with people in the team. What, you don't accept being called trash? You, and all of you 9 in total, didn't you just say you were giving up? You 9, go ahead and forfeit, get lost. Whoever else wants to give up can leave now to avoid delaying us later. The 9 pointed out by Liu Peng turned red immediately. They had indeed said they would give up earlier, but after hearing Xiao Hen talk about the leader's feats, they hesitated. Now, being scolded by Liu Peng, they changed their minds. I won't forfeit. Isn't it just killing cold beasts? Once we break through to the earth-digging realm, we'll have to face them sooner or later. Might as well try now. Even if we fail, it's no big deal. Liu Peng, don't underestimate us. I'd rather go in and die than forfeit. Right, I'm not forfeiting either. I'm not forfeiting. Seeing the 9 who were about to give up change their minds, Xiao Hen immediately caught on, turned to Liu Peng with a look of epiphany. All right, so you do have some spirit. At least you didn't disgrace our great Xia. Though Liu Peng's face retained a look of disdain as he spoke, there was a clear sense of relief in his tone as he achieved his goal. Liu Peng had clearly stated earlier, if more than 1/10 of the group chose to give up, the entire group would be considered forfeited. So Liu Peng's seemingly disdainful suppression of the 9 was actually to provoke them into not forfeiting. At this moment, many people in the team saw through Liu Peng's intentions and all gathered around him. Even Xiao Hen unconsciously moved towards him. Group 6, 13 choose to forfeit, whole group eliminated. Group 25, 11 choose to forfeit, whole group eliminated. Group 35, 14 choose to forfeit, whole group eliminated. Just then, announcements rang out one after another from the square. Some groups were completely eliminated because more than 1/10 chose to forfeit. 9 people. Group 52 had just been walking the line of elimination. Everyone in the team, including the 9 who had wanted to give up, felt a chill run down their spines, and soon all their eyes focused on Liu Peng. The selection has started, 10 groups per round. We will start our assessment in the 6th round, not much time left, gather around. The first round of selection had officially begun. Group 6 eliminated, the first round replaced, filled up to Group 11. Groups 1 to 11 have finished drawing lots and are preparing to enter the cages. Xiao Hen and the others turned to look at the 10 cages, finding some groups had already begun confronting the cold beasts, and quickly gathered around Liu Peng. The 14 strongest stood in the center, while others stood sensibly around. Clearly everyone had a sense of their abilities. Liu Peng's expression turned serious as he continued. There's too many participants in the logging realm martial selection, so they need the quickest way to eliminate some of them. Testing our courage with cold beasts is just the first phase. If over 1/10 chooses to forfeit, it counts as the whole team forfeiting. Why do you think Director Q set this rule? Everyone looked at each other, puzzled expressions on their faces. Morale. Only Xiao Hen uttered 2 words. Xiao brother, truly impressive. Liu Peng raised his eyes to look at Xiao Hen, a hint of surprise in his eyes, then turned back to everyone and continued. I observed upon arriving, the 172 groups were broadly distributed based on age and ability, balanced out. So I guess the number of those wanting to give up in each team is probably similar, making the second part of this selection a test of whether we can solve the morale issue in our team. Everyone nodded in agreement, looking at Liu Peng with growing respect in their eyes. Courage morale. Liu Peng stopped midway as if intrigued, deliberately asking Xiao Hen, "What do you think will be tested next, Xiao brother?" Seeing Liu Peng, 2 or 3 years younger than himself, gradually taking over the lead of the team, Xiao Hen's spirit also began to rise. Although he knew what Liu Peng wanted him to say, he still deliberately changed his phrasing. Chapter 634, Chapter 266, Assessment Objective Hell Level Difficulty. No matter what the test is, the ultimate goal is for us to hunt the cold beasts in the cages. If all 100 of us rush in like headless chickens, we will surely fail. Therefore, I propose we elect one leader to direct and coordinate everyone else. This will significantly increase our success rate. The crowd immediately showed expressions of agreement upon hearing Xiao Hen's words. Liu Peng clearly understood Xiao Hen's intentions. A faint smile appeared on his face as he nodded. Xiao Hen is right. The final test is about unity and cooperation. Although the logging realm does not inherently have hunting abilities, as long as 100 fully armed individuals unite with a clear-headed leader, killing a cold beast that has had most of its power depleted won't be difficult. Courage, morale, unity, and cooperation. After listening to Liu Peng's explanation, everyone suddenly realized. Then, who should be the leader? An older person suddenly spoke up. The majority of the people in the team immediately turned their gaze towards Liu Peng. Xiao Hen, along with 3 or 4 other strong individuals, had flickering eyes, evidently also interested in the position of leader. I propose Liu Peng. I also support Liu Peng. Liu Peng. Liu Peng. Liu Peng. I support Liu Peng too. The 6 people standing beside Liu Peng spoke in turn, and the team instantly resounded with voices in succession, including the 9 who had just been mocked by Liu Peng. Nearly 90%, without exception, shouted Liu Peng's name. Xiao Hen saw the 6 standing beside Liu Peng and sighed slightly in his heart. From the moment he saw the 7 people's positions, he had already guessed. It was no surprise that Liu Peng must have approached these 6 last night during the grouping, quickly got acquainted, and reached some agreement in advance. Otherwise, these 6 would not be so obedient to him. After the grouping last night, he also guessed that it would rely on unity and cooperation, but never dared to confirm it in his heart until he just saw the 10 cages, only then linking it to the final certainty of the cold beasts. Clearly, Liu Peng not only guessed earlier than him, but also took action. One step slow, step by step slow. Since Liu Peng had already seized control of the team, Xiao Hen no longer hesitated and followed the crowd, saying, I also support Liu Peng. Upon hearing Xiao Hen's words, Liu Peng smiled, then expressed his thanks with a hand gesture and turned his gaze towards the other peak of wood-cutting realm members in the team, his expression certain and even aggressive. The remaining few under his gaze could ultimately only speak slowly. Liu Peng. Liu Peng. The position of leader secured. Liu Peng appeared invigorated and immediately waved his hand, speaking in a deep voice. All right, I'll start deploying right now. I'll keep it short. The subsequent deployment, concerning whether they could advance, made everyone listen attentively, not daring to miss any detail. However, as they listened, smiles gradually appeared on their faces. By the time Liu Peng finished outlining his plan, all the people looked at him with more than a little admiration. Even Xiao Hen was no exception. I remember his elder brother, Liu Yuan, is the deputy captain of the Cloud Jiao team, so his brother must have taught him all this. In terms of ability, insight, and even knowledge about the cold beasts, Liu Peng seemed superior in every way. The only thing he could possibly compete with Liu Peng on was cultivation. The problem was, Liu Peng was more than 2 years younger than him. Calculating like this, he couldn't even compare in terms of cultivation. Xia Hong clenched his fists, feeling an inexplicable sense of urgency rising in his heart. Coincidentally, at this moment, the first round of 10 groups completed their assessment. First round, all 10 groups eliminated, next group up. Qiu Peng's voice came from above the city gate, carrying a hint of disappointment. The faces of Liu Peng and others who had just finished discussing immediately turned serious. Quickly go inside and save people. The cold beasts have already been driven to the side. Carry everyone out. Group 1, 29 severely injured, 52 lightly injured, leaving 19 unharmed. Group 2, 16 severely injured, 79 lightly injured, leaving 5 unharmed. Group 11, 29 severely injured, 71 lightly injured, everyone out. Just then, the wounded in the 10 cages were carried out by the earth-digging realm members of the camp's supply department, and as they reported the battle damages of each group, those left in the square about to enter started swallowing hard. This battle damage report seemed quite terrifying. Groups 12 to 21, drawing lots finished, prepare to enter the cages. Qiu Peng's voice echoed again from above the city gate, and below, another 10 formations began to move. They walked to the doors of the 10 cages, preparing to enter. Having just missed the first round this time, Liu Peng, Xia Hong, and everyone from Group 52 kept their eyes on the cage, trying to understand how they were getting eliminated. However, after watching for a while, they were all stunned. Group 14 eliminated. Group 18 eliminated. Group 21 eliminated. Group 12 eliminated. The time limit for Qiu Peng's assessment was 1 hour. Yet in reality, from when all 10 groups entered the cages to when they were all eliminated, it hadn't even been 30 minutes. The cold beast's power is terrifying. Group 12 drew cage number 1. Both of the Snow Mane's eyes had already been shot blind by the previous group, and it still hasn't been worn down. Group 14 was really unlucky, drawing cage number 7's White Bear. They hadn't even formed their chain formation when the White Bear slammed into them, sending half of them flying and severely injuring at least 20, leaving the rest defenseless. Hearing the discussions around him, Liu Peng's face turned much more somber. Courage, morale, unity, and cooperation resolve these 3, but that's just the first step in the selection. Luck and skill, neither can be absent. This preliminary selection is practically hell-level difficulty. Beside him, Xia Hong's expression was also extremely heavy. After a slight sigh, he couldn't help but look up at the cold resistance-level crowd above the city gates, questioning in his heart. Can anyone really advance? Chapter 635, Chapter 267, Stunned, the astonishing Zhao Yuankong. Can anyone really get promoted? It's not just Xia Hong who thinks this way. Liu Peng, all members of Group 52, and most people in the square are almost all thinking the same thing at this moment. But regardless of their thoughts, Qiu Peng did not call a halt. The third round of assessments continues methodically. Groups 22 to 32 quickly drew their lots and began entering their respective iron cages. This round probably doesn't hold much hope. There are 6 groups whose internal relations are still in conflict, and the remaining 4 don't have conflicts, but too many people are speaking. Upon hearing Liu Peng's words beside him, Xia Hong roughly scanned the situation of 10 groups. Sure enough, in this round, more than half of the groups had intense arguments before entering the iron cages. Some felt it was simply impossible to get promoted, considering it a waste of time to go in. Some kept cheering others on, suggesting there's no harm in trying, and some appeared anxious, their eyes flickering, clearly afraid. The remaining 4 groups, although not arguing, have distinct factions still discussing ways to join forces against the cold beast. Some feel 1 hour is too short, advocating for rushing in. Others believe the time is sufficient, suggesting a slow strategy. And some think the abundance of rocks and trees in the iron cage should be utilized for a strategic hunt, considering the beast's characteristics. After roughly observing the situation of the 10 groups in the third round, Xia Hong shook his head, nearly certain in his heart that no group would advance this round. Father has said that when the camp is weak and encounters a strong adversary, unity is the only path forward. Before executing a plan, there can be many different opinions, but once the action begins, there can only be one voice, or else those different opinions will inevitably become the fuse for failure. Xiao Qingcheng had been a leader for over a dozen years. As his only son, Xiao Hen had been raised as the next leader from childhood and learned a lot from his father. These 172 teams wanting to advance are no different from the numerous weak camps in the ice abyss. The cold beast in the iron cage is the formidable enemy they face now. Without total unity, success at promotion is impossible. Bam! Xiao Hen's train of thought was interrupted by a loud noise. He looked up at Iron Cage number 1 and realized that the group that had just gone in was already engaged with the snow mane. My leg is broken. My chest hurts so much. Save me, save me. Rather than saying they were engaged, it was more accurate to say this group was serving themselves to the snow mane. 100-strong group armed with sharp blades and clad in iron armor were instantly upturned by the snow mane that suddenly rushed in as they entered the iron cage. Despite having more than a dozen people nearing the earth-digging realm, quite strong, they hastily wielded large knives and strong bows trying to resist, but compared to the snow mane, they fell short in both speed and strength. More critically, unlike them who only held a mindset of assessment, the snow mane in the cage was genuinely fighting for its life. Roar! Snow mane's furious roars were unending. After scattering the crowd, it remained agile. Its limbs, tail, and even its knotted long tongue served as weapons. Within less than 10 minutes, the 100 people in the iron cage were chased and scattered into all corners by it. Taking the chance of knocking the assessment persons into the air, the snow mane frequently rammed the cage's barriers, clearly intending to find an opportunity to smash open the cage and escape. Many people had already realized this, but intentionally ignored it. Soon, cries for help echoed from Iron Cage number 1. Help! I forfeit! Forfeit! Help! The iron cage door was open, and those in the earth-digging realm outside had never been idle. Whenever someone was seriously injured, they'd rush in to rescue them. Those with minor injuries who declared forfeit were also brought out. Get away! A person wielding a large knife in the earth-digging realm rushed in to save an injured person. Coincidentally, the snow mane charged towards him, and the earth-digging realm angrily shouted while brandishing the knife horizontally. Despite having its eyes shot out, upon hearing the angry shout, the snow mane's frantic figure halted immediately. Fear flashed across its face, and it turned to pursue others instead. 2 rounds of assessment had concluded by this point. Not only this snow mane, but the other 9 cold beasts in the corresponding 9 iron cages roughly grasped the pattern. As long as they don't kill anyone, those wielding strong bows encircling the cage won't act against them. So they got smart, injuring the person seriously and stopping immediately, then continuing to find those still capable of moving. This assessment involved 172 teams with similar personnel configurations, with around 15 people from the peak of wood-cutting realm. Once the group's majority was dispersed, those remaining 15 couldn't make much impact. In Iron Cage number 1, the remaining 10-plus people eventually hit up the tall trees, but being up in the trees didn't guarantee their safety, especially atop the trees where they continued shooting arrows. Even though the snow mane lost its sight, it could locate them purely by sound. Roar! Ignoring the iron arrows shot from the front, Snow Mane charged directly to the tree, needing only 3 to 4 breaths to swiftly climb it. Run! Run fast! 2 people sounded the alarm first. The remaining dozen or so on the tree panicked immediately, hurriedly jumping down. But some still weren't fast enough. 2 bodies were pierced by the Snow Mane's 2 forest-white tusks. Chapter 636, Chapter 267, Stunned, the Astonishing Zhao Yuankong, Part 2. A shoulder was pierced directly, flying over 10 meters from the tree. Another had his calf pierced, tearing a large chunk of flesh, and fainted upon falling to the ground. Withdraw. Help, I withdraw. Withdraw. As the final group in cage number 1 shouted withdraw, a group of earth-digging realm individuals who had long been ready outside the cage rushed in immediately and took everyone out. Group 29 eliminated. These kids are so dumb, I can hardly bear to watch. Above the city gate, after watching Group 29's evaluation process, Lin Kai looked incredulous, and after speaking added, "Do they all not have brains? The Great Xia Cold Beast record is just on the first floor of the main building. Have they never flipped through it? It's not that they haven't looked, it's that they've been scared stupid." Yuan Cheng took over Lin Kai's words, sneering. "These kids, most of them have never seen a living cold beast before. Some older ones even when going out at most chop trees or pick fruits. The younger ones don't even know what the outside world is like. Their daily food, clothing, and usage are all given by their parents and families. Don't even mention getting injured. They don't even know the feeling of freezing. Suddenly being forced to fight cold beasts, getting scared silly is normal. Yuan Dao also withdrew his gaze, stopped watching the evaluation below and shook his head. Though they are young, their strength isn't weak. The basic strength of the logging realm is at least 5,000, peaks at over 9,000. Iron armor, weapons, Dan medicine, and all those supplies from the camp supply department are readily available. As long as they have a clear mind and match their efforts properly, they could even kill a fully mature low-level cold beast. The 10 cold beasts in the cage below have at least half their strength gone. Still, they managed to knock down hundreds from the logging realm, and up till now, not a single group has progressed. A group of cold resistance level individuals heard this, shook their heads, faces filled with a mix of emotion and helplessness, unsure of what to say. The leader was right. A greenhouse can only grow pretty flowers, not towering trees. This evaluation has exposed the extent of these kids' capabilities. With such a group of people, even if they break through to the earth-digging realm and join the hunting team in the future, 3 to 5 would likely die. Once on the battlefield, it won't just be themselves they harm, but others as well. Among the cold resistance level individuals above the city gate, Qiu Peng's expression was the worst. As the one overseeing this evaluation, each embarrassing withdrawal echoed below made his face darker. Hearing the words of Lin Kai, Yuan Cheng, and Yuan Dao, he remained silent for a long time, saying nothing. Why not just call it off? The number of injured is increasing. I don't foresee anyone progressing. It's probably too early for them. No team has progressed, so let's consider the logging realm grouping as concluded. Qiu Peng straightforwardly and resolutely rejected everyone's suggestion. He turned his gaze downwards, sneered. 100 from the logging realm can't even kill one already heavily injured cold beast. The camp has so many hunting teams, shedding blood outside every day, yet they've cultivated such a group of useless ones. If they can't pass such a simple pre-selection, they might as well forget about the pre-competition rewards for the top 100 martial arts. Everyone detected the anger in Qiu Peng's words and stopped speaking. The evaluation below had already reached the 4th round. Groups 33 to 43, 10 groups finished drawing and entered their respective cages once again. Look at the group in cage number 2, they seem a bit different. That's group 38. The leader is Zhao Yuankang, I know him. The son of Steel Main Team's Captain Zhao Hu. Yes, that's him. Upon hearing the crowd's discussions, Zhao Hen immediately looked towards cage number 2. The group 38 selected cage number 2, indeed distinctly different from other teams. Zhao Yuankang, like Liu Peng, should have also become the group leader. Upon entering the cage, their team of 100 remained silent, while Zhao Yuankang at first instance gestured to those behind him. The 100 quickly split into 5 squads, beginning to move slowly with the golden-eyed demon sheep behind the faux rock as the center, and along the cage's walls, soon forming a large circle. The demon sheep has already been shot blind. They won't attract the demon sheep's attention if they remain silent, so smart. It's true, just now among the 3 rounds of evaluation, 6 cages had their cold beasts shot blind. As long as no loud noises are made, the cold beasts can't discern the positions of nearby people. Zhao Yuankang just might have a chance to pass. As praises spread, everyone in the remaining crowd on the square turned their attention to cage number 2. This was expected, as the other 9 cages remained mostly similar to the previous round, while cage number 2 hadn't emitted any noise even after over 10 minutes. Seeing Zhao Yuankang's composed and deft handling, naturally, everyone's gaze shifted towards them. Not just those on the square, even the cold resistance level individuals above the city gate directed their interested gazes at cage number 2. Zhao Hu, this is your second child, right? Impressive. Being willing to think and able to think already puts one above many others. They certainly have hope. I see they even brought torches. That kid moved to the rear, probably planning to climb a tree. The personnel distribution is also well designed. He divided 15 from the peak of wood-cutting realm into his team, likely planning to take the position on the tree for archery. Chapter 637, Chapter 267, Stunned, the Astonishing Zhao Yuankang Part 3. Ha, you all are being too kind. This kid indeed has some clever tricks up his sleeve usually, but doesn't quite make it to the big leagues, ha ha ha. On the city gate, hearing Yuan Cheng and the others praise around him, Zhao Hu modestly responded but couldn't help grinning from ear to ear, looking at his son with clear expectations in his eyes. Inside cage number 2, Zhao Yuankong, who had reached the big tree under the way, raised his head to glance at the golden-eyed demon sheep roughly 20 meters away from the tree, and fiercely waved his hand towards the back. Fizz. The squad leader to his left rear suddenly ignited a small fire torch. The moment the torch blazed, everyone in that squad moved. The squad leader planted the torch into the ground, then quickly dispersed along with the dozen others in the squad. Roared. The demon sheep behind the fake mountain clearly noticed the torch, letting out an excited howl as its massive body charged like a cannonball towards the torch location, kicking up snow several meters high on the ground, showing just how terrifying its momentum was. Get up the tree and ready the bows, prepare to shoot arrows. As the demon sheep charged out, Zhao Yuankong spoke up. With his order, the dozen squad members all climbed the big tree, while Zhao Yuankong himself stood in place, aiming his bow directly at the torch next to the demon sheep and shot an arrow. Whoosh! Zhao Yuankong's archery was extremely accurate. One arrow extinguished the torch. The cold beast's obsession with torches is no secret in Great Xia. By extinguishing the torch, Zhao Yuankong undoubtedly enraged the demon sheep to the extreme. Roared! Shoot! This time, Zhao Yuankong spoke once more, and arrows flew from the dozen people on the tree, all accurately hitting the demon sheep's face. A few even knocked away 2 arrows stuck on the demon sheep's eyes before continuing to shoot them. Roar! The demon sheep roared even more violently. This made Zhao Yuankong show excitement on his face, while again fiercely waving his hand towards the squad at his right rear. Fizz! The second torch lit up again. The demon sheep, who had been livid, changed direction and lunged toward the position where the second torch lit up. Whoosh! Zhao Yuankong repeated the same strategy. The torch was extinguished, the demon sheep was angry, and the more than 10 people on the tree shot arrows again, inflicting another heavy wave of injuries on the demon sheep. Good kid, clever. Hadiyahata. Above the city gate, hearing Qiu Peng also compliment his son, Zhao Hu couldn't help but laugh out loud. Zhao Yuankong's technique wasn't sophisticated, just utilizing the torch's allure to cold beasts, dispersing the crowd while exhausting the demon sheep's strength and letting that group of peak of wood-cutting realm continually shoot arrows, causing more damage to the demon sheep. Continuing like this for 6 rounds, about 3/4 of the time had passed. The demon sheep's breathing had become very heavy, and its legs were even wobbling. Zhao Yuankong finally stopped having people ignite torches, but first called down all the dozen people from the tree, then raised his hand to signal, gathering the other 4 squads to him. Its strength is almost drained. Everyone shoot first with the arrows you have left. You 14 follow me first. The others stay behind us. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as the words fell, the more than 80 people who had only been responsible for lighting the torch all took out their 5-stone bow from their backs and wildly shot out iron arrows. The demon sheep indeed was very weak, but being hit by so many arrows, it still charged towards the crowd, albeit not as terrifying as before, giving Zhao Yuankong and the others enough preparation time. Who? A flash of determination swept through Zhao Yuankong's eyes. He raised his barrier blade and charged forward, fiercely striking the demon sheep's front horn. His strength still couldn't match the demon sheep, being smacked so fiercely, his body retreated more than 10 meters. But one person can't do it, combined strength from many can. The second batch, consisting of 14 peaks of wood-cutting realm, arrived. They wielding various weapons, chopping from the sides, piercing, every attack landed on the demon sheep's body. They're not like the earth-digging realm, capable of directly breaking through the demon sheep's flesh, but their basic strength was at the 10,000-pound threshold. Combined effort along with so many 10-forged weapons opened up dozens of wounds on the demon sheep's outer skin. Furthermore, the 80-plus people who finished shooting their arrows also joined. Their weapons all targeted the demon sheep. Those who found no place to strike even directly embraced the demon sheep's limbs, and some crawled onto its back. Luckily, Yuan Dao had already blinded the demon sheep's golden eyes on its back. Otherwise, those who climbed up its back might have met a grim fate. Leaving aside these matters, the key was that, with such methods, these 100 people actually forcibly blocked the demon sheep's forward momentum. Blocked it. Group 38 blocked it. They weren't scattered, not one of them got knocked out. They thunk. As the crowd on the plaza marveled, Zhao Yunkang came up with a follow-up move. He was facing the demon sheep head-on and, seeing the demon sheep restrained by the crowd unable to budge, actually abandoned his barrier blade, drew a short sword from his waist, and thrust it directly into the demon sheep's left eye. Dark green blood spurted out, drenched Zhao Yunkang's face. He did not show fear instead. His expression grew more intense and cruel, pressing down and frantically stirring his short sword inside the demon sheep's skull. Good kid has guts. Truly capable of passing the test. No, wait, look, the demon sheep is fierce too. Someone got knocked flying. All the people on the plaza, whether contestants or earth-digging realm members ensuring safety and order around, even those on the city gate like Qiu Peng and other cold resistance level members, all focused their eyes on Zhao Yunkang. Without exception, there was a gleam of anticipation in their eyes. Chapter 638, Chapter 268, Advancement, Warnings, and Inspections. Bang! The dying demon sheep was evidently a bit hysterical. It frantically shook its body, flinging away some of the people clutching its mane. Then it flopped onto the ground, rolling and struggling, attempting to crush and scatter the rest. Bang! Puff! The demon sheep, with a body length of 5 to 6 meters, was already one of the largest among the low-level cold beasts. With this one convulsion, it immediately smashed those clinging tightly to its mane on both sides, making them vomit blood continuously. Don't let go, hold fast. Its strength can't crush us. If you can't endure the pain, take the blood explosion pill. Just hold on a little longer, just a little longer. Seeing more than half of the team being flung away by the demon sheep, with less than 40 remaining, Zhao Yunkang roared continuously. He was the first to swallow a blood explosion pill, then twisted his body, clamping his legs around the demon sheep's neck. Noticing the power of the demon sheep beneath him continuously weakening, Zhao Yunkang let out a loud roar, freeing his right hand temporarily. He drew another short sword from his waist, gritted his teeth, and fiercely stabbed it into the demon sheep's left eye. Squelch! The previous short sword that had pierced the demon sheep's right eye only had the hilt remaining outside, with the blood inside already drained. What oozed out now was the crushed, milky white brain matter. It suffered pain imaginable. The left eye was pierced again, exposing the brain pulp directly. The demon sheep's body convulsed violently, and the thrashing stopped abruptly. The entire body stiffened instantly, collapsing to the ground like a deflated balloon. Bang! The demon sheep crashed to the ground, and the entire square fell silent at once. It took more than 10 breaths for people to start gradually expressing disbelief. They did it. Group 38 did it. Zhao Yunkang truly killed the demon sheep. Someone advanced. They had a head of Hafa. Above the city gate, Zhao Hu's hearty laughter echoed into every ear in the square. Only then did everyone truly confirm that Zhao Yunkang's Group 38 had indeed advanced and cleared the stage. The more than 30 groups that had just been eliminated, some remained in the square, their eyes filled with envy as they looked at the iron cage containing Zhao Hu. The people who were yet to be assessed in the square were also filled with shock and apprehension. As for the older earth-digging realm individuals ensuring the competition's safety around the iron cage, their faces bore satisfaction. When they turned to look at Zhao Hu, their eyes revealed a tinge of acrimony and envy, and when they turned to find their sons among the crowd, their eyes inevitably held a bit more expectancy. Group 38, all members advance. The evaluation continues. Round 5 of drawing lots begins. Above the city gate, after announcing the advancement of Group 38, Qiu Peng's long tense face finally relaxed. After signaling for the evaluations to continue, he turned directly to Zhao Hu and gave a thumbs-up praising. Surely, a tiger father produces no dog son. Your kid is no waste, he's a good seed. You're too kind, director, ha. Zhao Hu laughed heartily, feeling the compliment hit home since his name also contained the character tiger. The phrase, a tiger father produces no dog son, resonated with him deeply. It's a pity the leader went to Longyu. If this kid can make a name for himself in front of the leader, that would be splendid, he. Everyone chuckled lightly at Zhao Hu's little wish. Zhao Hu had originally been stationed at Hankyang. 3 days ago, Xia Hong went to Longyu and felt there were too many stationed at Hankyang. Otherwise, Zhao Hu wouldn't have had the chance to come back. Seeing these kids frightened senseless by cold beasts would make anyone angry. If the leader were here to see this, he might turn away after just one round. Yuan Cheng spoke with unusual confidence, and after a moment of thought, the others nodded in agreement. They all had once gone hunting with Xia Hong, who had a character of meticulous planning before acting. Even if he could crush with strength, he would lead them to find the most time-saving and effortless method. Even considering Zhao Yuankang's performance might hardly catch Xia Hong's eye, not to mention those eliminated, Xia Hong might overlook them after just one round. All right, it's about time. Here, Yuan Sijeng will continue watching over things. Zhao Hu, Luo Yuan, Zhu Yuan, Lin Kai, Lu Yang, you five come with me to the inner city to prepare to host the preselection for the Earth-Digging Realm grouping. The five called upon nodded, and proceeded to the inner city with Qiu Peng. The martial contest was, after all, only a mid-year cultivation test. Taking too much time would disrupt the normal cultivation life at the camp, which wasn't worth it. The Earth-Digging Realm and Logging Realm grouping matches were only allotted 3 days by Xia Hong, so they must run concurrently to be completed quickly. In the outer city, Yuan Dao continued to oversee the preselection matches for the Logging Realm, with the 7 other cold resistance level individuals. Longyu Wushuang Giant Stone Camp. Wushuang divided 32 small groups, lacking the personnel Xia City had, so only set up 2 iron cages to select 2 groups simultaneously, completing the preliminaries within one night. It turned out, Yuan Cheng's earlier assumptions were completely correct. During the first round selection of the Logging Realm grouping, when 2 groups entered the cage, there was utter chaos, and not even a leader was chosen. Xia Hong shook his head, turned straight back to the main building, no longer watching. Upon seeing Xia Hong turn away, Xia Chuan didn't look down either and followed back to the main building. Seeing Xia Hong's furrowed brow, he assumed Xia Hong was dissatisfied with the Logging Realm's performance, and quickly said, Chapter 639, Chapter 268, Advancement, Warnings, and Inspections. Big brother, the conditions at Wushuang aren't great, but over at Xia City, our own Logging Realm should be better. Xia Hong sat in the main seat, shaking his head as he spoke. Wushuang has a population of over 30,000, not much less than ours previously. From the performance of these Logging Realm groups, you can pretty much deduce the situation over at Xia City. At the mere sight of a living cold beast, they've been scared stiff. It's not just about lacking hunting experience. The key is that they can't even think. They're practically crippled by being raised in the camp. He paused at this point, then continued. Based solely on this, the situation at Xia City might not be any better. Xia City plus 5 other outposts. Looking at the situation of those 32 teams outside just now, I estimate that not even 10 teams might qualify. As Xia Hong spoke, his brows furrowed. 100 Logging Realm individuals joining forces to kill a severely injured low-level cold beast. This, in Xia Hong's eyes, should be no easier task. Initially, when Qiu Peng suggested this assessment method, Xia Hong thought it was too simple. Just a normal low-level cold beast would suffice. In retrospect, if Qiu Peng really listened to him, probably not a single team would qualify in the preliminaries, making the Logging Realm grouping simply void. I've never paid much attention to the Logging Realm crowd in the camp, only heard from you guys that the numbers keep breaking records. Martial Arts Academy having someone break age records every day, thinking how capable these kids are. Turns out they're all just a bunch of silver spearheads. If I'm right, the damage rate at the hunting department has been rising recently. Am I correct? Upon hearing this, Xia Chuan's expression froze slightly, as though he thought of something, first showing a sudden realization, then nodding with a face full of guilt. After the Cold Element Festival this year, the number of newly formed teams in the hunting department became numerous. In January, February, and March consecutively, the mortality rate of teams going out hunting was indeed rising. Initially, I thought it was the increased number of teams, more hunters, and it's normal for the mortality rate to increase. But now looking at this Logging Realm performance, what are the specific numbers of casualties? Xia Hong directly interrupted Xia Chuan's words and asked. In January, 79 died, injured 290. February, 121 died, injured 382. March, 152 died, injured 472. April's numbers aren't compiled yet, but Xia Chuan, who remained in the camp for the initial 3 months, obviously was familiar with the data, stated them directly, although April's figures aren't compiled yet, but the trend can be seen. Xia Hong's expression immediately grew heavier. The casualty rate in hunting meant that these numbers reported by Xia Chuan were all Earth-digging realm population. Over 300 died and more than 1,000 were injured due to hunting in just 3 months. This is unthinkable. This is over 300 Earth-digging realm individuals. If they weren't lost, with the current resource acquisition capability in the camp, as long as they could grow smoothly, they might become over 300 Long Yu Army or Blood Guard Army, and who knows how many cold resistance level individuals might emerge from them. You didn't even bother to tell me about such a big matter, nor have taken any measures to improve the situation. You think this isn't a big deal, don't you? Bam! For the first time feeling Xia Hong's anger and reprimand in his words, Xia Chuan directly knelt before him, with an increasingly guilty expression, saying, "Big brother, it's my mistake. I've always just focused on their cultivation condition, neglecting the fostering and improvement of their hunting skills. After the end of this martial contest, I will definitely find ways to improve, quickly reduce the number of casualties in external hunting. Don't think just because the camp has many people, some are redundant, or even it's okay for some to die. The most precious asset of the camp has never been coal nor iron, nor silver or any other materials, it's those living people. I've explained this principle to you a long time ago. Don't regard the high cultivation as dismissive of those earth-digging realm and logging realm below." Xia Hong paused slightly at this point, then continued. "I and you also started cultivating from ordinary people and advanced to where we are now." Xia Hong had already noticed that not only Xia Chuan but also Yuan Cheng, Qiu Peng, Lin Kai, Lu Yang, including those who initially came up from the dirt hill. As their cultivation and position increased, their mindset had started to change. It wasn't that they had issues with loyalty to the camp. It was simply that they had developed a sense of indifference towards life more than before. They seemed to have less respect for life than before. Especially after this round of Long Yu War, probably from having stained their hands with a lot of blood, coupled with the rapid population growth of Great Xia, the swift rise in strength and status, that has made their mindset somewhat lightheaded. Before the establishment is complete, this mindset is the most taboo. Judging from this logging realm selection, it's clear that Xia Chuan, the minister managing all camp affairs, has started to become somewhat unfit for his role. Even if Xia Hong hadn't delved deeply into Qiu Peng, Yuan Dao, Yuan Cheng, and the others, he could roughly guess their mindset. If he doesn't provide a stern reminder, by the time they suffer some real loss, it won't just be a matter of losing some earth-digging realm or logging realm. After the end of this martial contest, I'll give you another month. The hunting department's casualty numbers must be reduced to single digits. So many people merging into the camp are not to be fed to cold beasts. Yes, big brother, I will surely achieve it." At this moment, Xia Chuan was scolded so much that he dared not raise his head. Hearing Xia Hong's goal set for him, without a second thought, he responded heavily, clearly mentally setting a rule for himself. Seeing the guilt on Xia Chuan's face, remembering he was not even 20 and he had handed such a large mess to him to handle, Xia Hong sighed slightly. After pondering for a moment, his tone softened somewhat. With the Long Yu situation unclear, wanting to continue battling against Long Mountain and Zhejiang, establishing an army is imperative. After this cold resistance level martial contest ends, between you and Yuan Dao, the one who comes first will lead the army building. Make sure to manage yourself properly. Upon hearing this, Xia Chuan's expression paused, followed shortly by a resolute look, nodding firmly. The first place in the cold resistance level martial contest is inevitably between him and Yuan Dao. Xia Hong telling this in advance speaks for itself. Great Xia's first army must be created by myself, and no one else. Xia Hong, not saying more, waved his hand and said, "Keep hosting the earth-digging realm grouping martial contest. I still need to patrol Hankyang and a few other outposts. I won't be staying at Wushuang for long." Xia Chuan nodded, bowed, and left the main building directly. Xia Hong then sat in the main seat, took out the map of Long Yu drawn by Xia Chuan recently, and began to review it carefully. This kid hasn't wasted time either. The straight road between Jing Valley and Beehive has been mostly completed, should be finished by July. With this map, constructing the straight road connecting Hankyang, Wushuang, and Beehive, by then Xia's corner in the southeast of Long Yu will fall entirely under Great Xia's control. Moreover, once this map is thoroughly understood, Long Mountain and Xia Hong will no longer be able to take these three outposts back from Great Xia. The key is the importance of this Wushuang outpost. Located in the center of Longyu, Xia Hong had long seen the importance of this place, so upon learning Xia Chuan had taken Wushuang, he returned here at once and stationed people specifically. This martial contest might bring surprises through the earth-digging realm grouping. As for the logging realm, it won't be worth watching. They won't have relevance until Xia Chuan implements improvement measures, then maybe next year. After this contest, the number of breakthroughs within the earth-digging realm grouping will be crucial. The key matter ahead is still building the army. Xia Hong sighed slightly. According to the army-building standards of the Longyu Army and Blood Guard Army, Great Xia currently exceeds by only over 3,000 pounds in the earth-digging realm count, certainly not enough. He could only hope that enough people would break through after this contest. Releasing large quantities of resources is also to expedite their breakthrough. These logging realm individuals, even if they break through, may not be useful in the short term, so the hope rests solely on the existing earth-digging realm. Xia Hong put away the map and stood up directly. No need to look at Hankyang or Beehive, go check out Huayuan. I haven't seen Su Ning for a long time now. Northern Mountain should have expanded a lot of new areas. Chapter 640, Chapter 269, Unexpected Surprise, Su Ning's Rapid Growth. Traveling from Wushuang to Huayuan, one must pass through Jing Valley and Xia City. Upon reaching the two locations, Xia Hong paused quietly for a moment, roughly checked out the selection situation of the divisions within the logging realm, and finally left, shaking his head in disappointment. Similar to what Wushuang saw, the vast majority of these logging groups had not even decided on a leader, or they had decided, but just before entering the field, internal disagreements still existed. Xia Hong could almost tell without looking that they couldn't advance. Xia City was already in the 7th round of assessments, yet only 2 teams advanced. This result completely extinguished Xia Hong's interest in observing further. Huayuan is probably similar, but I should still take a look. Leaving Xia City, Xia Hong traveled swiftly for over 10 minutes through the snowy night and soon arrived at 5-8 Mountain, currently the location for the Great Xia's Huayuan Station. The Huayuan Station was on Middle 8 Peak, rebuilt on the basis of the former site of the Three Tigers camp. Besides clearing its interior anew, they also constructed a closed wooden shed 30 meters wide and 100 meters long along the mountain wall. From afar, Xia Hong saw 3 iron cages outside the shed. Inside each of the 3 iron cages, there was a team of 100 people hunting cold beasts. Around them were more than 20 100-person formations, clearly all participants from the logging realm. At the forefront of the formations, Su Ning held a strong bow, keeping a keen eye on the 3 iron cages, seemingly preventing any cold beast rampages or unexpected events during the assessment. Oh! Seeing the situation within the 3 iron cages from afar, Xia Hong immediately showed a hint of surprise in his eyes. He then found a spot with a relatively open view, continued watching for a while, and gradually looked more satisfied. Unlike Xia City and the other 4 stations, here in Huayuan, the 3 teams participating in the assessment within the cages each had a leader issuing commands, and the remaining members, whether grouped or scattered, clearly demonstrated having their own formations. Just this aspect was far stronger than Xia City and the other 4 stations. Could it be that Su Ning faked things, revealing the assessment contents in advance? Xia Hong frowned. The assessment objectives of the logging realm divisions included courage, morale, and teamwork and cooperation. Selecting a leader, solving team morale and internal conflicts, and finally finding ways to unite the team and foster cohesion were inherently part of the assessment. If Su Ning had told these people in advance, then this martial gathering would have no meaning. That would be no different from cheating. No, Su Ning doesn't seem like someone who would engage in such shams. Let me listen first. Xia Hong moved closer, getting a bit nearer to the logging realm participants who hadn't entered the assessment yet, eavesdropping on their discussions. Ha, thanks to Lord Guardian, when we're not picking fruits or logging, he organizes us to go hunting with the hunting team. Turns out, this martial gathering rests on hunting cold beasts. It's still about hunting severely injured cold beasts, with over 100 from the logging realm joining forces. As long as the leader is clear-headed, there's absolutely no problem. The key is, those who went out with the hunting team before are all at the peak of wood-cutting realm cultivation. This time, They've all been distributed among various teams, with 31 squads, each having 15 members. As long as no one in the team messes up, advancing is entirely no problem. In the past, I didn't understand why Lord Guardian did this. The logging realm going out with the hunting team, apart from odd jobs, couldn't help much. Now I realize he was planning ahead, hahaha. Xia City didn't handle it like our Wayuan. I reckon the logging realm there is all dumbfounded now. Very few will advance this time. Hahaha, Lord Guardian is really foresighted. After listening for a while, Xia Hong's frowned brows immediately smoothed, looking at Su Ning at the front of the cages with eyes full of praise. Doing the groundwork in advance and then accidentally hitting upon it, that at most only counts as good luck, certainly not cheating. Good luck only favors those who prepare in advance. Since the camp's expansion direction changed to Longyu, Xia Hong truly hadn't paid much attention to the situation on Wayuan's side. Su Ning had also been focusing deeply in Wayuan, rarely appearing in Xia City. Coming up with the idea to let the logging realm go hunting with the team to enhance their hunting experience shows that in the year or so Su Ning served as Wayuan's garrison. His growth speed far exceeded Xia Hong's expectations. Xia Hong's eyebrow twitched slightly. He snapped off an ice shard as long as his thumb and lightly flicked it towards the treetop. Pag! The noise from the martial event at the station was loud. The sound of the snow cluster falling from the treetop was almost inaudible, yet Xia Hong noticed at once that Su Ning at the front of the cages had already vanished. Sneaky, who goes there? Su Ning's low shout, together with the swipe of his large knife, simultaneously reached Xia Hong's ears. Whoosh! The 3-meter-long barrier blade swept through the air, the immense force stirring up a fierce wind that tore all the icicles off the trees, slashing quickly towards Xia Hong's head. Leader! At the last moment, when Su Ning recognized the visitor as Xia Hong, he sheathed his knife. But once unleashed, such a massive weapon as the barrier blade was difficult to retract, especially as Su Ning hadn't been breaking past the cold resistance level for long. His control over his own strength was clearly not very strong. Thus, the large knife still sliced down. Seeing he couldn't pull back the blade, Xia Hong didn't even draw his sword. Su Ning's face was not only filled with regret but also a touch of fear. He worried that he might truly injure Xia Hong.